for Mason Park wetlands. In early 2021, Council called for tenders for outside companies to advise on a management plan for the wetlands. Applied Ecology was appointed. Our initial long discussion with Applied, we passed over information that we had uncovered during our documentary research, information which they needed but hadn't found. Applied was told not to speak with us any further. We were advised by Council's gatekeeper that we could have input into the management plan, which informs Council's statutory plan of management, only when it was put out for public consultation in December 2021. To the best of our knowledge, neither document has ever seen the light of day. However, we know they exist because Council's gatekeeper told us in April this year that Council was seeking funding approval from DPI to implement the management plan, and that the plan wouldn't be released until funding was approved. 4 emails and an in-person request with the head of your Environment Department since then have failed to provide these documents for either public or private comment. We're very concerned that the opacity of this process and the year-long delay is resulting in further degradation of Mason Park wetlands environment. The wetlands needs daily tidal flush restored to it so that the whole ecosystem can recover from the benthic microbes up. It must be done urgently and based on the best scientific advice. The migratory shorebirds are due to return to Australia this month. It is now breeding season for domestic shorebirds, and it's another season lost in Mason Park wetlands. The members of Friends of Mason Park Wetland are now appealing to Strathfield Council to create immediate transparency for all stakeholders, including all residents of Strathfield and all interested community groups, including ours, about Council's management plan from Applied Ecology and its subsequent unpublished plan of management. These documents need to be urgently made available for public comment and submissions. Friends of Mason Park Wetland has started conducting free wetland walks for interested members of the public. We'd like to extend an invitation to all of your staff to attend as well. We run walks both during the week and on weekends. Next week we're sending invitations out to all primary schools in the area to have Term 4 or 2023 excursions or incursions hosted by us, and for families to come on wetland walks during the school holidays. We continue to recruit members of the public into our ranks. We're in this for the long haul. Mason Park Wetland was once one of the best bird watching sites in Sydney, and it can be again if restored with care following gold standard wetland management practices. We look forward to working collaboratively with Strathfield Council and other stakeholders to bring the wetland back to its former glory and protect it for future generations. Wild areas like this remnant wetland in the middle of a city are rare. We are all responsible for ensuring its environmental and cultural values are fully restored. I welcome your questions, comments, and especially your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thanks, Teresa. And Teresa, I'll take the information on notice, and when I come down and see you down there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
So no public address. Declaration of pecuniary interest or conflicts of interest. Okay. And then I have confirmation of the Ordinary Council meeting 2nd of August 2022. Mover for that, Councillor Pennsylvania, seconded Councillor Data. Any debate, councillors? No. Let's put 2 minutes. Councillors, put the minutes. Councillor Shine? Yes? Unanimous. We'll move on to acknowledgements. I have a few. So firstly, just acknowledging Mr. Robin Hugh as a Stratford local resident, and he came to visit me, and he actually won a award winner for his short film, which was called A Salesman Call, at the Film Freeway Festival. So I actually got to see the film, and myself and Councillor Chai, and just acknowledging that one of our local residents has won this award. The other acknowledgement I'd like to make is for Mrs. Abla Tahami Kajus. So she's a Stratford local resident, and she was actually selected as a Senior Australian of the Year 2022 at the Australian of the Year Awards. So at the time this wasn't brought to our attention when we asked. So
we did ask, and we were told that there was no one from Strathfield that received an award.
So I just want to make sure
but then we found out recently.
So I just want to recognise being awarded to the Senior Australian of the Year 2022, and Mrs. Kadus is the President of the Islamic Women's Welfare Association and helps Islamic women feel welcome and participate in the community by providing anti-discrimination forums, school readiness programs, youth camps, cooking classes, events and food essentials for people in need. She's been volunteering for over 35 years and her generosity and energy is a true inspiration to her family, community and country. And she's a local resident for a long time and she just lives not far from the council. So I just want to make that acknowledgement and yes.
I think it might be nice if council was to send her some flowers, so congratulations for receiving that award.
Okay, yep. I'm happy with that.
Thank you.
Okay, I have another couple of acknowledgements before councillors. I'd like to actually acknowledge one of our fellow councillors here, Councillor Raj Datta. I've been informed that Raj Datta has nominated for pre-selection on the New South Wales Labor Upper House ticket. And look, I've known Raj for over 20 years and I wish you all the best, Raj. You've persistently served your community over many years and I wish you all the best of luck, and I'm sure other councillors here wish you well as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
The other recognition is for Are You OK Day, which is on the 8th of September, just a couple of days away. So Are You OK is a harm prevention charity that encourages people to stay connected and have conversations that can help others through difficult times in their lives. Their work focuses on building the motivation, confidence and skills of the help giver, the person who can have a meaningful conversation with someone who is struggling with their life. Are You OK contributes to suicide prevention efforts by encouraging people to invest more time in their personal relationships and building the capacity of informal support networks. Friends, family and colleagues to be alert to those around them and have a conversation if they identify signs of distress or difficulty and connect someone to appropriate support long before they're in crisis. 8 people take their lives every day in Australia, and for every death by suicide it's estimated that another 30 people have attempted to take their life. And 89% of people report knowing someone who has made a suicide attempt. So I just think it's important that we do acknowledge this, and I know the staff are doing something for this as well, but I think as councillors, just to bring awareness of this, of this day, which I'm sure most of us will on our social media, but just to get out there and ask the community or anyone we know that's in trouble, how they're going, are they okay? Also? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm done with my acknowledgement.
Okay, so I have a acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Do I?
I think do you? Yeah, let's do it. Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of Strathfield Council, I wish to acknowledge that this week is Multicultural Health Week. It's run by the Department of Health and the theme for this year is Early Detection Saves Lives. I proudly represented Council at Parliament House on Monday morning for the opening of this most important week. In our multicultural community, there is a sense of shame, blame or stigma attached to the diagnosis of cancer. We need to start conversations with our family members. As we all know, cancer doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate against age and it doesn't discriminate against race. We need to talk about it and we need to talk about early detection. It's a must. Cervical, bowel, breast screening is our only way of detecting cancer in its early stages. 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed in New South Wales in their lifetime with cancer. With early detection, 70% now survive a long-term diagnosis and future. We need to inform our community that if you contract cancer, it's not a death sentence. If you detect it early, you can survive. A website of all details on our screening is available, and it's this pamphlet there, and I've got a few for our council chambers, our council office. The multiculturalhealthweek.com website has this in 42 languages. So there isn't a community that won't be able to read how to do an early screening. It's a must. Do it for yourself, do it for your family, and tell your community. I will also encourage our communications department to display it on our e-news and our newsletter that gets distributed to all our residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further acknowledgements? Yes, Councillor Data.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 5 acknowledgements to make, Mr. Mayor, just to match you for today. Thank you. The first
If you can
acknowledgement
make it quick, Councillor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, I will.
Got 5 minutes.
The first acknowledgement is for the Hota Forum, the big body of the Hindu organizations. And as we know, it is particularly relevant for Strathfield because we are the very highest growing Hindu population in Strathfield as well. And they organized a big, over the weekend they're planning to organize the activities over the coming year for the Hindu community, and also they reviewed the activities they had over the last year, and hopefully their overview has been the broader community, and so I believe that will bring some good result for the broader community as well. So I acknowledge that effort by the Hota Forum, the big body of the Hindu organizations, on behalf of the broader community. The second acknowledgement I have is for Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Vishwa Hindu Parishad, one of the biggest organizations of the Hindu community, has taken an initiative to teach Sanskrit to all children and citizens. The objective is to make sure that people can read the Vedic scriptures in their original language so that they are not misled through the translations in English or other languages. And over the last weekend, they gave certificates to 170 children. That's a massive piece of work and organization. So I commend their efforts and activities on that. The third acknowledgement I have is for acknowledging the activities of Sri Vinayak Temple and Hindu Council of Australia for organizing Ganesh Chaturthi in our council areas, and Ganesh Chaturthi is really to celebrate the successes that we have, and Ganesh is the god of success. And I acknowledge that Mr. Mayor and some of our councillor, Deputy Mayor, and Councillor Reddy were there, and Councillor Sharangan was also there. So I congratulate you all for supporting these two organizations, and a lot of things are coming from there. So good to see the presence of a community is being shown, and their work is going to contribute to the broader community. And the fourth acknowledgement I have is for our council staff for the brevity that they showed in organizing the spring fair against all the calamities. I know that unfortunately we didn't have a lot of people there on that day, but it cannot lessen the efforts that those staff put up there and acted throughout the calamities. So I think it is, we all should congratulate them for the hard work they put in for organizing this special event. So I definitely want to congratulate them for all that. Naomi, Ayla, and many others I saw the GM there and many other people there, and that was really, really splendid. The fifth acknowledgement, Mr. Mayor, I'm not taking a lot of your time, I guess, and the last one, Mr. Mayor, you're smiling, that's good to see.
Always smiling, Councillor.
The United Indian Association, the peak body of Indian organizations, organized the celebration to celebrate the Azadi Ki Mahotsav, which is the 75th anniversary of India's Independence Day. The reason it is important is, given the geopolitical situation, the relationship between India and Australia are going to be very, very vital, increasingly vital over the coming years. And this celebration shows that we are prepared as Australians to build mutual respect between these two countries, and it is incrementally building. And we had a celebration at the council the other day, and also the United India did the celebration, and it truly needs to be acknowledged for the good things that is, contribution is going to make to bring India and Australia increasingly closer over the years. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you,
for
Mr.
allowing me
Councillor
to acknowledge this significant contribution.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other acknowledgements, councillors? Oh, yes, Councillor Mansworth. How many?
Acknowledging just one,
Just one, thank you.
the New South Wales train and bus drivers, and specifically the RBT and the Transport Workers Union, the TWU. Strathfield residents would have been affected by industrial action taken by New South Wales bus drivers and train drivers over the last month. Those actions have been taken because the New South Wales government has demanded that the bus and train drivers that saw this state through the COVID-19 crisis take a pay cut. More than that, the train drivers and bus drivers are striking because, despite an offer for an $18,000 pay increase, because of tremendous safety concerns regarding foreign-made train and bus trains being operated in New South Wales. The train drivers are taking it on themselves to take action that has been regarded as unpopular by some for the safety of all residents in New South Wales. And while Strathfield residents may have been inconvenienced in the last month, Strathfield residents should also be assured that this is something that's being done in their own best interest.
Okay, any further acknowledgement, councillors? No? Deferred outstanding matters, nil. And then, I move in accordance with section 13 of Council's Code of Meeting Practice. That 1, Council alters the order of the business paper in accordance with clause 8.1.
So don't you have a mayoral minute?
I'm doing this before the mayoral minute.
Oh.
I have a couple of others.
Oh.
Do I have the floor, councillor? The items listed below be dealt with by exception and that they be adopted as recommended by way of a single motion. So 10.1, which is mayoral minute for the sustainability program for trees at Marie Bashir, 3 trees. Page 32.
Hang on a minute, you're going to have to slow down.
10.1,
Yes.
and then
Page 32.
did you say 13 too?
32.
Page 32.
Oh, page 32, thank you, sure.
And, I think this needs a bit more clarification to the mayoral minute.
3 trees planted in the school.
Putting 3 trees, no.
They've requested, it's to the council.
Hi, welcome to this tutorial for EarthAct, a smartphone app that
Yes,
helps you hear
councillors.
speech better in noise. Today, we're going to talk about
Do
how
we
to
have
get
a budget
started
for
using...
it, or do we have?
We do, it's all
I
right.
apologize.
You're all right, Robin.
I'm dead,
It's in-
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Robin.
It's in the sustainability budget now.
Oh. And how much is it? How much of it, what's the budget? And how much is it? And how big are the trees? Are we
It's
talking,
under $1,000.
we're not talking 2 million trees?
No, it's just a sustainability program for the children. Council.
More information needed.
Okay. So yeah, 13.1. That's the traffic committee minutes. 13.2. That's the report from the Multicultural and Diversity Committee meeting on page 69.
Just a second, Mr. Mayor.
Page 69, Councillor Data.
Yes.
That's just the minutes just come to the council meeting. 14.1, in relation to councillor data motion pedestrian crossing Hampstead Road, it's page 75. Uh, 14.6, page 82. Support for the council supporting the Postal Savings Bank. That's Councillor Charles' motion, page 82.
Yep.
Yep. 14.9,
Page one.
the page 87, Chalmers Road Public School, trivia, looking at sponsorship, Councillor Pensavini.
Do we have a budget for that? How much?
Just going to come to the
is it?
workshop.
Going to workshop.
Yeah.
$14.9.
Yeah, 14.9. Then we've got GM1, page 90.
Can I just make a comment on GM1?
Yeah. Do you need debate on it or?
No, I just want to make a comment that I've read the delivery program report and I've got to say the detail and the management of this report was excellent, and I want to thank our council officer Kathy Jones for her reporting on our delivery program, because I know the work that has gone into that, and I thank you, Ms Jones, for your work on that report. Thank you.
If I can make a comment too.
Yes, okay. Debate or just comment?
I think, as I agree with Deputy Mayor, that there have been some significant improvement in the presentation, but I also believe that for a program delivery, at least there should be regular reporting against at least two dimensions, which is a.
So will you be supporting it, Councillor Gatos?
Yes, I'll be supporting
You can
it,
put it
and
in
I
bold.
expect that in the future we will look into increasingly improving. So that's is just a permission. I will be supporting this motion. I'm not stopping it, but in the future, that's the direction I would like.
Thank you.
Thank
you. GM2, Community Garden Policy 129, return from exhibition. Page 129, GM2. GM3, Small Grants Policy, Public Exhibition Return, 136. Page 136, GM3.
Sorry, which one did you say?
GM3, the return of the draft Small Grants Policy for public exhibition. 136, Councillor Hall.
Yeah.
Yep. GM4, Events Calendar,
What did we change from last time?
142. Which one?
We had the event calendar.
It's been changed. The community and, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Went to the workshop.
After GM2?
Sorry? GM4, 142. Okay. GM5, 144, page 144. That's the acknowledgement of the tenders advertised and awarded. CC1, investment report, page 151. CC2, the councillor workshop details of what happened, page 173.
Investment report.
Yeah, so CC2, councillor data, councillor workshop, just
The minutes.
yeah, about the minutes, yeah. Page 173. Yeah. And then we move down to CC6, development of guidelines for model policy of lobbying of councillors, page 266. Yes, councillors?
Yep.
And then we move to PE1, page 274. That's the update for the support for the Melbourne Road crossing that we've seen at the workshop. PE1, page 274. Then we go on to PE2, page 277, traffic committee composition discussion. PE2, page 277.
No, can we,
Take that out.
yeah, take that out, please.
Yep.
Which one?
PE2,
PE2?
just take PE2 out.
Just a second.
Have some debate on that.
Just a second.
That's fine, we'll move on because it's out.
277.
PE3,
277.
local school traffic safety program, page 279.
Could we also take out PE1, PE2 too?
PE1,
PE1 and PE2.
yep.
P1's out.
P1's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
PE3, yes.
Yes.
PE4, page 282, is the employment zones reform.
I thought we were going to put that back. More discussion.
Did we?
Take that out.
I can take
Out?
it out, yeah.
Okay, so that. PE5, Arthur Street bus stop shelter.
Yep.
As reported in the workshop. That's page 308, Councillor Vata. PE5. Yep. PE6. That's the improvements to the Homebush West car park, page 310.
That's fine.
PE7, councillors, Homebush West shopfront report, page 313. PE7.
I'm sorry, I can't remember.
First being the work they did with the grant,
What's
With the grant that was
presentation?
given.
receive a note, the report, the work that's been done.
The shopfront.
You can keep it out and have a look at it later if you want.
I just have a couple of questions.
Take it out?
Out already, so
So, yeah.
take it out, PE7.
Sorry. I have a few questions.
Okay, and then EO1, town hall renovations, page 338.
Yes, that's all good.
Okay, we're good with those.
Uh,
So,
not really.
Yep, sorry, moved by myself, seconded Councillor Pensadini.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. You, seconded, thanks.
Yes, Councillor, is there an issue?
No, just that I didn't get to put my hand up because you already said it.
That's what she had her hand up, Councillor.
Okay.
Oh, well, I think the point is, I think what is being made is the documents, but the way it shows that all these motions in subsequent document, it shows that as if all have been moved by the mayor and seconded by the deputy mayor. Well, in sense, the motions have been moved by the respective movers
Yeah.
and seconded by
Very clever.
various others. So it has been going on for months and community is allowed.
Look, Councillor Dada, I'm happy to put whoever you like as the mover and the seconder. I've moved it anyway, I've made
You
the
moved it
recommendation.
and are seconded by.
But I just want to, like, we're not, I don't think,
I'm not saying
our
I just-
48,000
yeah,
residents,
let me finish.
I don't think our 48,000 residents are getting online and reading the
I'm
minutes
not
of,
sure,
of who's moved or passed, you know, putting a crossing in school time which has already been approved.
You think so, wouldn't
So-
you?
That is,
Or putting-
now that you have, Mr.
Anyway,
Mr.
so-
Mayor, now that you have finished, if I can say this,
You have
it is happy,
You haven't given
I
it.
think the movers and supporters, in this case, the supporters of people who are really, supporting it, are all these councillors. So the seconders or supporters should be all the councillors, and I think the original mover's name should always be mentioned. I do agree.
But Councillor, just a point of order, Councillor Dada. In the minutes as recorded in the meeting, it actually does have the move of the motion noted on the who moved the recommendation
Yes.
at the top of the minutes.
Yes.
It actually clearly
Yeah.
says,
It has.
it clearly says, you know, like,
I'm sure it has.
it
So
does.
you think your point of order? I do have a point of order.
Okay, what's your
And
point
I
of
am
order?
going to make a point that, I think the issue is that, and it has been brought to my attention because, I didn't quite catch it. Would you mind, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, giving opportunity to others, councillors to move or second?
I did ask for a seconder. Councillor Pensabini had her hand up as I
It was
turned
so
around.
quick, maybe we could do the recording, it was, so if you could give other opportunities, I think that would be excellent, and given
If
that.
it pleases you, Councillor Hall, you know, I am
Mr.
happy,
Raj Data down as a seconder.
well,
I handed
you're
over
arguing
to
that
you.
you were the seconder, so,
Mr Mayor?
Yes, councillor Mason, yes, we are waiting.
Could I just query if we included CC3 into the...
No, no,
Thank you.
no.
Can you still on?
You have another point of order?
I just, through the mayor, for the 14.1,
Yes.
about, the large motion about, the pedestrian crossing at the Hampstead Road. I believe, in last couple of months, I can't remember exactly which month, I make this motion already.
Yes, councillor Chai,
Yeah.
you are right, you did put the motion up,
Yes,
and you did talk about it at the traffic committee,
yes,
and I thank you for that initiative.
yes.
Councillor Dada's motion is, we're putting it in this, moving it by exception, just to pass it. Is actually asked to make sure that the works are completed during the school holidays, and I know our traffic staff have already said that that's when it will be completed, but
Yes,
councillor
because
Dada
I
is
saw
just,
many things that
putting
you
another
can't-
motion, just to, ensure that, the staff do exactly what they already said they're exactly going to do.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
Thank you, councillor Cho. So, moved by, the mayor, and,
Yeah, I'll second it.
seconded by councillor Hall then.
Thank you.
There you go.
Cool.
And all in favour, councillors?
Thank you for those.
To move all those by exception? Thank you, councillors. Okay. We'll move back to start mayoral minutes. So the mayoral minute 21-22. Which are on your desk, councillor Hall.
Where?
Oh,
Oh, yes. No,
underneath it.
I see yours.
Okay.
21, 22?
21, 22.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So, yes, councillors.
Which one are you reading first?
Well, it's 21-22 is the first one.
Okay.
Councillor, abolishing the connector bus service and introduction of a Strathfield bookable on-demand community bus. I move the Strathfield Council prepare a report on abolishing the connector bus service and savings to Strathfield Council, possibility of having on-demand style community bus and how this would operate and costs involved. I'm just reading this, councillor, just because it was put up today. Costs of removing redundant connector bus signage around Strathfield LGA and on the buses. Expected income from the sale of any unnecessary buses and how these funds would be allocated back to our community. Expected income from the hiring of space at the Dutton Centre, which is currently occupied by the connector bus. The rationale for this is this bus service is costing nearly $2 million per year, and this is an expensive bus service which only benefits a small number of community members. I have had calls from many local residents who are very, very concerned about this bus driving around empty and the amount that it's costing council. I think a lot of them don't actually understand that it actually costs a lot more than what they think. When this bus was proposed to the council in a workshop, it was proposed that it would be cost neutral, which is not the case. As councillors, we have a responsibility to make decisions which are in the best interest of the future of the community, and cancelling the service is the right thing to do it right now. If we have a community bus, which is, like a more on-demand style, this is what I'm asking a report for. This is a significant cost to council. It's, nearly $2 million, about $1.8 million on the figures. It costs, I think the calculation, councillor Chai, was from that previous report was nearly $50 per ride. Everyone who steps foot on that bus costs $50. It would be cheaper to have an on-demand service. It'll probably be cheaper to give every resident a cab charge. It's something that was sold to a previous council term as a, something that would not cost the council money, and that was not the case. So I'm moving this, councillors. I'll open it for your debate, but this is something that I heard a lot during the election, and I'm hearing it more and more as people are experiencing a bit of cost of living crisis, and they're looking at council and saying, what are you doing to actually make sure that council's in a good financial position, and we're not going to put further burden on our ratepayers. Any debate, councillors? No? No?
The report, all good?
Okay. So I'll put the mayoral minute for this report.
Vote against it.
I am voting against it. It's a community service.
All those in favour, to councillors?
Mm,
Councillor Data, Councillor Reddy, Councillor Chai,
actually,
Councillor...
no.
Yes. Against? Councillor Swarren, Councillor Hall, Councillor Pensabeni. I declare it
Councillor
carried.
Backland.
No, they're struggling, they need free services.
I'm consistent.
You've got to stop
Okay,
driving
the next
their
one,
cars.
councillors, which is on your desk, is mayoral minutes
That's only a
22.
report.
It's a report, councillors.
We will
Mayoral
be
minutes
able to
22,
Wait for
22. Tree permit
That's not you,
applications.
that's good.
Basically, councillors, if you just have a read of this mayoral minute,
What is the page again?
it's a mayoral minute, councillor, on your desk.
It's underneath.
This is to do with our recently exhibited tree management. I move it as written. It's the Part O changes to our DCP about the removal of the DA process and having a permit-style process for the management of trees. And the proposed fees are as written, so it's actually quite reasonable for residents, which I think will actually mean that residents will come and talk to us and we'll get some good advice from our professionals rather than
Poisoning.
taking matters into their own hand. These are comparable to other local councils, and the staff have put these charges forward. So I just would like your support so that if we can get this through, we can go on exhibition relatively quickly. When our tree DCP changes come back to council, hopefully next month, that the permit fees and processes are already exhibited as well, and they can all, really get some good results for our residents. So I'll put it to you, councillor, in debate. Councillor,
You go first.
Oh,
I want the question.
I'd like to move the amendment to the motion if possible.
possibly.
This is that at the beginning of the state, council provide the councillors with a report on the appropriate fee structure for a tree pruning and removal application, especially keeping in mind the cost, with the aim of full cost recovery for undertaking such assessments, and to replace so that would be the amendment.
Look, I can't accept it, councillor, just because the whole point of this
The timing
being put up tonight is the timing issue, that we are trying to coincide it with the actual policy coming back to council. And there just wasn't a permit in our fees and charges, and that's why I put this up.
I have a question.
Yes, councillor Hall.
Through the chair,
Two.
sorry, if you don't know, you can take it on notice, but, because what I wanted to know is, so what was the tree permit, cost before? Like, I mean, I thought a tree trimming permit was $100 and something, if I recall.
Yeah, through the chair, that's correct. The tree trimming permit was $150, I think, off the top of my head. However, because we were using DA process for tree removals, the fee was, I think, $400 and something per application. So this brings us back in line with our surrounding councils and streamlined system where it's a 1 or 2 page permit rather than a long process of putting a DA through the New South Wales government portal.
And my other question is, the request for review of tree permit application determination private tree, is that when we knock back an application?
So when
are we trying to really deter this? Trying to make sure that...
Through the chair, when we get an application that we reject, for whatever reason it is, like trees perfectly on it, when it comes back to us, there's a lot more work because we then have to get our own independent arborist report to look at it and make sure that when we do go back and either say yes or no next time round, it can stand up in court if they take us to local land and environment court.
Another question.
Yes.
Did we have this fee before?
Sorry?
Did we have this fee before?
No.
I don't think so.
It's a different process.
We had a DA process before.
Yeah, which was 400.
Yeah,
450.
450.
And there was a fee attached to a referral.
So
Of course, in
it
all
used to
of
be-
your various arborist reports and all those
So
kind
it
of
used to
things.
be 450 in total, or you used to add on other things to it?
They had
450
notification fees,
plus.
they had, yeah.
Now, this is if it's,
Huh?
so, sorry, I just need
Yeah, there's a
to
notification
understand.
fee.
So if somebody puts in a tree permit and then they officially want to have it reviewed, because there's a lot of unofficial reviewing happening, or are we going to just go, yeah, no unofficial reviewing, no explanation, no telephone call, you're just going to, it's $569 if you want a telephone call. So that's not what we're doing, is
This is
it?
an application.
Through
not
the,
a-
through the chair, what happens there is, if the people lodge a DA through the New South Wales portal,
Mm-hmm.
it goes to the officer, there's a notification to the neighbours. We assess it based on the information they attach to the application, whether it's an arborist report, structural engineer, plumber's report, there's a whole range of things we look at. And based on the information we get, our level 5 arborist then makes an assessment and will determine whether the tree can be removed or not. If we determine the tree a refusal, they then have the option of asking for a review of that, and there's a fee attached to that that goes back through the portal again.
Okay.
So what this process will do, it will come in as a application, not a DA. Our tree assessment officers will assess it. We'll do the same process, ask for arborist report, structural engineer. If we then refuse that application, if they want it reviewed, then that's the review fee.
And this is only for tree removal, not for tree trimming?
Correct. Tree
Okay.
removal.
So how much is the tree permit for trimming?
We've lined it up so the permit and the removal will be the
The
same.
same, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
It's
you,
actually cheaper now to get tree trimmed.
thank you, yep. Just
Are
need
you
to
happy,
do a few
councillor
things.
Hall?
Yeah, because we used to get a lot of these things, so I just wanted to clear it up. Thank you. Can, any, with amendment, now that I just asked all my questions, any chance we can, that Mr Mayor, you'll accept that the request for review would be down to 450, which is what the DA was before,
As an amendment,
as an amendment?
I'll just ask for the chair, Mr General Manager. Councillor, just the last fee at
Yep.
Which one?
The last one, 450 instead of 569,
Ah.
just what it was before.
No.
Through you, Mr Chair.
Just taking it to what it was.
Yeah, the only issue we would have if we reduced it to 450, council would probably lose money on that if we had to engage an independent arborist. Because what the process would be, we'd engage an external arborist to review our work, make sure that there is transparency, and the going rate for someone to review it for us would be that $500 mark.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about external.
An external.
That-
If we get to the land environment board, we need to be on solid
I
ground.
So
think,
hang
councillor
on,
Hall, we
just
can
a
always
question.
leave it at 569 and then it's got to come back for review once we get feedback.
Oh, okay.
Going on exhibition tomorrow.
One more question. So with the 569, so with the review, it's going to be an independent arborist, like you said,
Yes,
that is outside of,
that's right.
and does that come from a panel? What panel do you get those from? Is there a panel from the state government, or is there a panel that council has? Where do you get those arborists?
No, we look for a suitably qualified level 5 arborist that we don't normally use ourselves.
And you just, yellow pages?
No, we've got a list. Sorry, we have a list.
That is my yellow page.
There's no magic list anywhere.
Okay, and so how do the arborists get onto that list?
It isn't necessarily council,
Yeah.
really.
Look, I'll take that on note. That would be a good idea to put a panel together.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean,
Is that,
it's a policy, so.
Through the chair.
No, I think it's,
Councillor Dale, the general manager.
Through the chair, I would have to check, but it is quite likely that the local government procurement panel will
Mm.
have a panel of arborists that we can procure from. And under council's procurement guidelines, we would also be able to go out for quotation as part of that process. if there weren't suitable, arborists on that panel for us to use.
Cool, as long as we know that, I know the process, so I can explain the process. Thank you, thank you.
That's the government standard procurement process, so it should be like that.
I withdraw my amendment, second.
You're okay with that, and we'll deal with it later?
And you're going to do yours?
I'll foreshadow the amendment.
I'm looking for my mouse so we can go up and down.
Yeah, okay. So I'll put the current one to the vote.
Oh, what's the foreshadow, sorry? Can we just,
Do that
Well,
later.
scroll
That's
up.
basically getting a report, was it, to,
Correct, on the appropriate fees, keeping in mind what the rate of cost recovery is required for Arts Council. Because there's doesn't appear to be a real basis for the fees that they presented to us.
I think just, yeah. My comment on that was actually proposed by our staff. So they've done their research. And,
I have a question.
yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, could you just explain what the timing issue is? Because you said, you know, that it's...
So, yes, Councillor Hall. So, basically, when we passed the tree DCP updates, it's gone on exhibition. The exhibition is finished. It wasn't ready to come back to this council meeting. It will come back to October. The tree DCP updates will come back to October.
Right, okay.
In the meantime, because our fees and charges, it was a DA, we did not have a permit fee. So when it gets adopted, there'll be no fee if we don't adopt a permit fee.
Yes, so that would be the...
Yes. So we're just making sure there's a fee there.
So
that this can be activated as soon as we pass it, if we do at a future council.
don't fees need to go back to exhibition?
This will go on exhibition tomorrow, that is the point.
That is
So
right.
then it
that's
can
the
come
timing.
back, so it can come back to October at the same meeting as the 3DCP.
And we can amend that.
You all right with that now?
Yes, yes,
Not a,
Mr. Gentleman.
Vanilla. Penny drop.
Yes.
Councillor Burns, Ryan, it might, for your foreshadowed motion, you might want to consider whether the report that comes back to the council to adopt the fees after it's been on exhibition includes that rationale of how the pricing structure has been developed.
To add
To have that as the
adding an amendment to this motion.
Add an amendment to this motion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
that's
Well,
very
let's do that.
sensible, because then we
Thank you,
can put it on
Mr.
exhibition
General
tomorrow.
Manager. So rather
the
than
wording-
foreshadow,
We'll amend.
so that the rationale for the price, the fee structure, be presented with the report after the exhibition period. Yep. Yep. Yep, okay. Okay, so there's no foreshadow. So we'll put this recommend the mayor and minute councillors. All those in favour? Unanimous.
I can't see It's boiling.
Okay, we'll move on to 14.2, Flemington Station, Market Walkway, Councillor Nella Hall, page 77 for your assistant councillors. And do I have a seconder for this motion? Yes, Councillor Data. Yes, Councillor Hall, you have the floor.
I'd like to make an amendment as well. I did this a long time ago. At point 2,
I don't blame you. You got the right one?
page 77,
Yeah.
the, walkway.
No,
Flemington Station.
Flemington Station City Markets Walkway cover,
Yeah,
page
Oh, yeah.
77.
sorry, I got the wrong one.
page 77.
That the report also, that the report identify, the first thing we need to do is work out, whether it's our land. So rather than have that report be prepared, on the feasibility of council constructing, can I change that to say that a report be prepared? On whether.
Councillor.
That's fine. Oh, that's all right, I don't mind. On the ownership of that parcel of land.
That's for sure, there's no councils.
Yeah, that's what yeah. I did this a long time ago. And I forgot my name. So, yeah. A report prepared on the ownership of the parcel of land for a construction of a walkway. Delete number 2, please. And the report be prepared, sorry, in number 1, if you can just put that a report be prepared, for a workshop.
Future workshop,
For a
October workshop. We've got too many in September.
Sorry, future workshop.
Why do you need a
The future workshop is fine.
why do you need a report for a workshop?
That's fine.
Just a workshop is fine. I mean,
Is councillor?
it can be a verbal report, can be a written report.
Right, future workshop, yeah?
Future
Yeah.
workshop, yep.
Prepared for a
We've got
future
a lot
workshop.
on.
Yeah, I know, we've got to keep moving.
So, that's it. So that, now that just means that it's going, so, that a report be prepared on the ownership of the parcel of land for a construction of a walkway from Flemington Station to the Sydney Market, that the report be prepared for a future workshop. So basically it's identifying who owns that parcel of land. If we own it, then we can decide if we can do anything, or if anybody can partner, and that's a completely different motion. So that will be a different motion. This motion is just to identify who actually owns that parcel of land.
Okay.
Well, that stuff's you up now, isn't it?
No.
Sorry?
You right, David?
So, yeah, just a question, can you just explain this a little bit further, Councillor Hall?
So there is, so from the station to the entrance of the area of the Flemington Station, there is no cover, apparently, there's just a walkway with no cover. So I've been approached by residents who say, well, is there any way that we have babies and prams and we have food and blah, 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 if they can be...
Yeah, we don't want it getting wet or sunny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have a hat on or hair, then you need cover. So,
Or some people walk.
Councillor Data, Councillor Hall, before, please.
So, yeah, and it's just, that's what I was approached to ask. And the only thing I wanted to, so all I wanted to know is, are we responsible for that? If we are not responsible for it, then obviously I'll go back to the people and they can go to the state government. If we are responsible, well, that's a completely different motion and we can think about that in the future.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
any further debate? Councillor Shire, please. Have you left the meeting?
You're not allowed to.
Okay.
Any further debate, councillors? No? Councillor Hall to close?
I think that's
No?
pretty simple.
Okay, I'll put the motion to you, councillors. All those in favour? Councillor Data, Councillor Hall, Councillor Chai, Councillor Reddy. Against? Councillor Blackmore, Councillor
We don't know the
McLaurin,
land.
Councillor Pensavini. I declare the motion carried.
All good.
Another one of yours, Councillor Hall?
Another one of mine.
14.3,
Mine are practical.
street bin installation,
Really thinking
Liverpool
about-
Road and Cosgrove Road. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Hall's motion? Councillor Data? Second. Councillor Hall, you have the floor.
The council install a street bin at the bus stop near the corner of Liverpool Road and Cosgrove Road due to the excess amount of rubbish being left behind by persons using the bus stop. While Liverpool Road is not a council road, the excess amount of rubbish being left behind by bus users is tarnishing the streetscape and giving an impression of uncleanliness in our area. If bus stop users were provided with a bin, it would provide an incentive for users to place their rubbish in a bin. This ain't, rocket science. Neither is this, expensive. I think the bins are what, $50? Something like
$1,000,
that.
councillor Hall.
Are they that much?
Installed.
Cheapers.
Labour's gone up, concrete's gone up, and,
And plus we have to empty it
and we have
3
to
times a
empty
week.
it, yes.
Well, you know what, cleanliness around our street is next to godliness
Godliness.
godliness in this area, in our area. I have a lot of complaints about rubbish, in that area. Anyway, this was brought to my attention. There are a lot of, I don't want to say which group of people, but there is a lot
You
of
can
rubbish
say
in that
councillor.
area. It's just, it looks really, really untidy. And I think if they were provided with a bin, maybe I'll apply for grant. If we were provided with a bin, I think it will stop the rubbish. Motion, very simple, very practical, things that our residents can just see, and they can actually see that our area is starting to look clean. I'll leave it to you, councillors. No good of it.
Councillors, any, debate?
I'll debate this
Yes,
one.
councillor
You didn't
Maheswaran.
debate it.
Yeah.
Why? Just a bin.
It's not the bus shelter users, it's the massive corporate fast food centres around it that don't clean their bins out and their garbage billows across that corner. The bus users aren't the problem and a bin's not going to fix it.
And plus, can I also say, the students in Stratfield South High, we were visiting there not so long ago, and the rubbish that's left underneath that walkway from the school over to the other side of Liverpool Road is absolutely disgraceful as well. People just don't realise how much rubbish they cause, and putting one bin in is not going to change the issue, because the wind also picks up a lot of that rubbish and blows it over to that street as well. So, unfortunately, one bin's not going to education, Michael.
Okay, so is there anyone, two against, anyone supporting councillor Hall? No? To close councillor Hall?
You all said why we need bins. The council of Pennsylvania said that that they leave rubbish everywhere. Councillor Maheswaran also said the same thing.
But the bins are full.
And so the reason why we need bins? I mean, it's bins. In fact, what you guys have just convinced me that we need more bins. One's not enough. I'm just asking for one. I agree. I think we need more. And so, with regards to the food chain, you're absolutely right. But what happens is the students do go and buy the food from the chain. They bring them down to the bus stop, and they eat the food while they're waiting for the bus. And unfortunately, they don't take the rubbish with them onto the bus. They leave it on the street. So, but you're right. I think that my next motion is going to be half a dozen bins.
Okay, 6 bins.
Okay. Okay, thank you, councillor Hall, and I'll put the motion to you, councillors. All those in favour? Councillor Maheswaran, councillor Hall, councillor Data. Against? Councillor Blackmore, councillor Reddy, councillor Chai, councillor Pennsylvania. I declare the motion lost.
You convinced me now.
Thank you, councillor.
And 14.4, notice of motion submitted by councillor Hall, Ismay Reserve Dog Park. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Yes, councillor Data. Councillor Hall, you have the floor.
I've been approached by residents in the area that the dog park needs just some TLC. So that council reviewed the Ismay Reserve Park with a view to remediate the park and restore the grounds. Can I add in there?
Amend.
So can I please amend? Yeah, number 2, that council reports the review to a councillor, the feasibility of a review.
Of a remediation.
Remediation, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way.
Okay. Councillor Hall, I just have one question with this motion,
Sure.
if you may. Just with the word that says remediate the park and restore the grounds, I understood that as you wanted to, possibly eliminate the dog park and restore the grounds to what they were before.
Oh, no.
So I'm just confirming that.
Oh, no.
Keep it as a dog wording.
Oh, keep it as a dog park and just, it's a mud bath. Beautiful dog stay, it's a mud bath. So it needs a little bit of TLC.
Okay.
That's what it needs.
Artificial turf.
Okay.
And that council, so the amendment is that council report, the remediation to a workshop, including, budget implications. Thank you, David.
Okay, any debate, councillors? Thank you for answering my question, Councillor Hall. No debate. No. Councillor Hall to close. We're good. No, I'll put the recommendation, councillors. All those in favour? You with us, Councillor Cho? Unanimous. Okay, we'll move on to 14.5, citizenship ceremonies, councillor workshop and council committees to be held out of office hours. Do I have a seconder for this motion, councillors?
Oh, yeah.
Councillor Hall to second. Councillor Data, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Time is on.
In my previous council and prior to that I have been involved with council business, I have always seen the business citizenship ceremony or councillor events or various committee meetings always were held in hours where all councillors could attend. But since joining this council, what I have seen that, and many other things, a lot of things have changed, and one of those things, a lot of things have changed, including the access for councillors into the council chamber or the offices. That was changed. Access to the car park, that was changed, and also the change was the meeting times. Including today, the last meeting, full-time working councillors do not have any opportunity to attend all these things. Remember that.
Councillor, point of order.
Yeah.
I don't think you can speak for all councillors that are, all full-time councillors can't attend if it's not between.
I'm just qualifying, Mr. Mayor, if you give me a few minutes, I'm qualifying that. There are only 20 working days off you can get over a whole year, paid leave. And people have a lot of different things. And how many meetings do we need to attend? How much time? Yes, you could probably attend one, and I've tried to do. How many of that you could take over the year when there are so many meetings and so many other things? This is totally, to me, is a working against the full-time councillors. I think people wanting to provide community service, people wanting to provide public service needs to be ready to sacrifice personal time or comfort, and which I have been doing for over 2 decades. And it is when I'm asking for time, I'm not saying it is. I work full time, long hours. On top of that, I'm prepared to spend my personal time to attend all these meetings. That makes my day very, very long. And so I think this should be a standard process, and that has been a practice in this council for many, many years that I have been associated with, except the last few years that I'm coming to know that things have been changed. So my request to all of you is to, for the sake of equity, to support this motion to ensure that all councillors full-time working can attend the meeting. I'm prepared to, some other councillors that I have spoken with, they all are prepared to spend, dedicate their personal time out of office working hours and their weekends for their community, for their commitment to community service and public service. And I think that's a fair call, and I think that's how it should be. The way it is going, the councillors who are being compelled not to attend, they are not being given the adequate opportunity to represent the people who voted for them to come to the council. Thank you. I would appreciate your support, all of you, in this motion.
Any debate, councillors? Yes, councillor Reddy.
I would say I'm a full-time working as well. I run my own business and I have a young family and I have some responsibility over my young family as well. They need me. Being a woman, I need to cook. Today I came early from my office. I cooked my kids' dinner and I came here. So I can't do that every single day, and my kids are going to school. When they come back, past 4:30 or something, that's when they get to talk to me. By the time today I go, they are in bed. And I'm eating soon from the Shirley. I have a commitment to the community, so I'm sacrificing my office hours. I'm trying to squeeze in with all of them, but because that I can afford to come and spend time for the community, I can also do it, but at the cost of my business, not at the cost of my family. For me, my family comes before than my office. So I'm already doing enough of the sacrifice. I'm not ready to do any further. And it will be very unfair for female workers who look after the family, who are the backbone of the family.
I think Councillor Reddy, I know you mentioned female workers, but I will just make a point of order that there are a lot of fathers who are very, very actively involved with their children as well. And I think that a lot of fathers with young families also wouldn't be able to attend in the evenings as well, because that's the only time they get to see their children.
It will be unfair for our family. If we don't do something right in our family, how can community expect us to do something right for them? We need to plan to do the right things at home and then take it out. So I won't be supporting.
Thanks, Councillor Reddy. Further debate, Councillor Maheswaran? Yes.
Maheswaran.
Anyone else? Oh, can I just propose an amendment, if you don't mind? Because I'll just speak to us. I mean, in sum, and this has been going on since the start of the council term.
It was resolved at the start of the council term too, Councillor Maheswaran, but we're putting it back to council again.
It was resolved in a manner where, and I start from the outset that I have no strong preference here, right? This is a question of whether my girlfriend is annoyed at me or my work is annoyed at me. That's going to not make too much of a difference, but I don't have the same responsibilities.
Big difference in that, Councillor Maheswaran. There's a very big difference in that one.
But there's not a huge amount of responsibility. You know, I don't have the same responsibilities as other people in this room. And I would just say that it just strikes me that while the citizenship ceremonies need to be fixed to provide certainty and fixture, as well as the externals that participate in that, the council workshops and this meeting itself is fixed in the evening, which is convenient to people that are on, you know, at a time that's proposed in this motion. It strikes me that, and I might be assuming positions, but my understanding is that from the position of the mayor, the deputy mayor, Sandy, sorry, Councillor Reddy, you know, the preferred time is during the day, and the preferred time for Councillor Halls and Data are during the night for workshops, and I'm not sure what Councillor Kai's position is, but it just strikes me that an equitable position is that we alternate the workshops from month to month, from the evening time to a daytime time, which would provide some, you know, opportunity for everyone to participate, and so that sacrifice is equally borne. So I just put that as a compromise solution. But, I mean, otherwise, I'm just putting that out there, that seems to be the sensible solution.
I'm trying to be a liberal.
That's
what you're trying to do.
I'll just put that one out there.
Okay. Councillors? Yes, Councillor Hall? We'll have a bit of a...
When I first got elected in 2017, I was working in our own business, and the freedom was unbelievable. It was so good. I could come and go as I pleased, did what I wanted to do, and it was fantastic. And for the first 2 years of my first term, I must have gone to every single council thing I could, because I had the absolute flexibility. Things changed when I got a full-time job in the city. And unfortunately, I don't work for a family member. I work for somebody else who is a boss, and so you have to basically be there. And they, I'm glad that he wants me there. So it has made life a little bit more difficult when you get a full-time job to go to all the functions.
I think it's just a point of order, Councillor. When you say about a full-time job, I think again, Councillor Data is working.
I'm talking about myself.
Mine is in public service. Your employment is now in the public service, and a public service job is Monday to Friday 9 to 5, whereas another full-time job necessarily isn't Monday to Friday 9 to 5. So
in my circumstance, it's very difficult to get to council for a lot of the functions that have been held or during the day. So something that it'd be nice to alternate, and I'm so grateful for council organising the citizenship ceremonies on the 17th of the Saturday. That's fantastic.
It's only one.
I think it's, well, it doesn't have to be consistent. I always found that really weird, having it on at 3 o'clock, because you can't park here at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but I'll just make another point of order if I may,
changed.
Councillor Hall. Upon Councillor Data's personal request to change the citizenship ceremony to 4:30 to suit Councillor Data, I made that change last month, which we did. It made quite an inconvenience for the local primary school who were hanging around for over an hour to perform at our citizenship ceremony, which was quite, I'm glad that they did that, but, they put themselves out for Councillor Data's request. Councillor Data has asked for 4:30. We put it at 4:30. He's now putting a motion up to us for 5 p.m. So it's at 4:30, not 3 p.m. That's my point.
You can park in the car park
That's
now
my
too.
point.
So I always found that a little bit strange because the traffic was so bad, and I did have some comments from people that were going to the citizenship ceremony why it couldn't be held after hours, but that was ventilated months ago, so I won't go through that again. My other issue is, one of the problems that we have is we can't attend these by video. So where the citizenship ceremony during the COVID...
Just a point of order in relation to that. The councillor workshops we can still attend by video.
Yeah, haven't finished yet. So while the citizenship ceremony during the COVID was online, I understand that is probably inconvenient, even though it probably, if it was broadcast, it might actually be quite nice, but that's for a different time,
anyway.
different day, different time, different motion. The council workshops, yes, while they are online, the committee meetings are not, and that's where my strong objection lies. If it is really anyway, I don't want to say unfair, but it's really difficult when council committees are during work hours and I can't attend online, where, in Parliament House, all committees are online. So any member of Parliament can attend a committee inquiry online. Yet here at Council, we can't attend councillors can't attend online. So that is, unless we are willing to change that online, then Councillor Data has no alternative but to put this and say 5 p.m. or later, because we are not willing to be flexible and allow councillors to attend online when Parliament House does. Members of Parliament.
Councillor Hall, I just want to ask you, which one are we not allowed to attend online? The citizenship ceremony?
Committees.
The council committee meetings?
All council committees should be able to go online. All of them. They're all, if they're here at a council property, if they're held in a council.
Can I just get quickly through the chair to Acting Director Corporate Services, Mrs. Aikenhead. Is there capacity for us to look at the council committee meetings, having ability for councillors to come in via video link.
Through you, Mr Chair, we do have capacity to be able to hold online meetings. Our code of meeting practice actually prohibits meetings being held via audio link. That would include committee meetings. However, that could be amended by the will of the council to enable committee meetings to be held and bring the committees in line. And yes, we have the technology to be able to do that. It would just mean scheduling the meetings in rooms that have that capability.
Well, that's good to hear. So then it's another motion, Councillor Data. We need another motion in order to change the policy so that we can have it online. But, you know, I reiterate, you have members of parliament able to attend committee meetings, inquiries, and these are a big deal, by video link. But we councillors cannot attend a traffic committee, a multicultural committee, any other committee via video link. And I think that's where the problem lies. So if we can change that, then we don't need to have it after 5 p.m.
I just have a question for Mr. Mayor before I think the Mayor indicated that as a result of my personal request to the Mayor, he changed the citizenship ceremony to 4:30 p.m. and which he did. And
very accommodating.
Which he did. So
Good.
I'm just
Online then.
and I thank him for that at that time. I thank him now again, if that makes any sense. But what I am also saying that, does it mean that the committee meetings or the councillor workshops are also going to happen at 4:30? So is that your commitment, that 4:30 is fine? Is that what you?
We need to change it on this.
Well, I haven't made the commitment because the council meetings, council data, the committee meeting, for example, you know, if I'm not on that committee and there's the committee are deciding the time of the next meeting, it's hard for me to.
This council can decide any time. What I'm saying, Mr. Mayor, is that this council can decide the time, and the committee, individual committee chair will be working within that time frame. So if you are saying that 4:30 is the timing for that, I will be happy with that. But the thing is, I am member of one of the committee. Only one committee that I got opportunity somehow, though there was a lot of effort to push me out. There was a lot of effort to push me out.
Councillor.
There was a lot of effort to push me out.
Councillor Data.
Still I got there somehow by my fingernail. And still now the arrangement is such that I cannot get into it. So, and how many layers it has, we have to work through for it. So if that I am a councillor and there are other committee meetings, other committee members who are also telling me that we have to go there, and they are working too. Those some of the committee members, they are also working, so they cannot attend. So all of those things need to be looked at.
Councillor Data, just one moment, I've just got a comment from Mr. Nathan, who's the chair.
Mr Chair, each committee that we held recently, which was the Wellbeing and Multicultural Committee, were asked what was their preferred meeting time, and both committees unanimously agreed that 2 p.m. was their preferred meeting time, and that did suit every person in that room who was in attendance. Admittedly, Councillor Data was not able to attend.
So the whole community who attended, all our community members,
Yes,
unanimously agreed on 2 p.m.
But I just said what they told me, so I was not there, so I could not make any comment.
And that is acknowledged. Councillor Data is a member of our multicultural committee, and he was not able to attend. He was the only person who wasn't able to attend that meeting.
Okay. Is Councillor Data, are you finished?
No, I haven't closed.
No?
That was a question, but if you want me to close.
No, not closing. We're still debating. Have you finished? I haven't spoken.
8 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's all I was saying, but I will get a opportunity to close after you have said. Is that what it means?
Of course, yeah. Once the debate finishes,
No, all I was saying that I was there, and few people from there after the meeting did mention to me that they would prefer it was at a different time, but I didn't know the details of it. But the fact is,
Recorded minutes.
But they didn't vote
the fact is,
for it.
the fact is,
Councillor Data has the floor, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Sorry.
the fact is, I, as a councillor, or a member of the only committee that I somehow got into with my finger, sticking with my fingernail, didn't get a chance to attend the meeting. And if it continues like that, then I will never be able to attend. So essentially, I am being pushed out of this, though the community has voted me to represent them in this committee. And I, in the previous term, established this committee just like this. So this is, I think, is a gross injustice to the members who expect me to represent them in this, and I do a lot of work in this space of multicultural affairs. And if we are citizenship ceremony or other things can happen at 4:30, I cannot see why this meeting, which is not going to be very long meeting, cannot happen at 4:30. That's all I need to say.
Councillors and, yes, Councillor Charles, have a go, I guess.
Personally, for me, it doesn't matter, which time to the my time quite flexible. But for the multicultural committee, Large Tata as Councillor Large Tata is councillor join the meeting. I think he should be very important, in the committee. I think we should.
Councillor Data is very important, Councillor.
Yes. As a councillor, we are elected, supposed to represent our community. So for those multicultural, committee, I think we should consider a bit more of his, flexibility for the committee, for the meeting.
Councillor, you've spoken. Is there a question?
A question.
Question.
Yeah.
Yes, question.
So, chairing multicultural committee, what if I don't get to go?
Because Councillor Data is moving this way.
It would look more bad than.
That's all right, Councillor Reddy, as long as Councillor Data can attend everything.
Online
doesn't matter.
is-
Point of order,
Online.
point of
Yeah,
order,
Councillor.
point of order,
That's a point of.
point of order.
Yes, Councillor Data, what's your point of order?
Point of order is that
If I've ever heard of this one.
that if Councillor Reddy, we are not asking for the meeting to have the meeting on a certain day. If Councillor Reddy can attend other things at 6:30, definitely in a month or in a 3 months time, she or we together can find a time, a particular day, when she could attend at 4:30 or 5 p.m. There is no doubt about it. So I appreciate all your help, but I also say that what you just said is not the right comment as a mayor to make. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, let's, a quick question, please, Councillor Hall.
A quick one. Just to the chair to.
Mrs. Aikenhead.
Yeah, Aikenhead. What policy do we need to, what's the name of the policy that we actually need to change? Is it the code of meeting practice?
Councillor Hall.
Is it the code of meeting practice?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, Councillor Hall, it's code of meeting practice. Last year, there was a resolution passed. At the time we were dealing with this issue, the public health order actually said that we could hold council and community orders, meetings online. That expired on the 30th of June, and on the 4th of May, last year, we did actually not extend that.
Is there any reason for that?
Thanks, you got an answer there, Councillor Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, a question, Councillor Sorry.
No question. Can I just move a motion to amend?
You've spoken, Councillor. So you had an amendment. Was there?
Oh, is it already reflected in there?
Yeah.
No, can I change that? That's all, Mr. Mayor.
You can change your own amendment.
Change my amendment.
Where's the amendment?
Sorry, was that amendment accepted, councillor Data and councillor Hall?
I cannot remember formally, so
The
maybe
formally.
councillor Marshall can propose that.
It's on there, councillor.
Oh.
Which one is
He
that?
has spoken, so we'll just go back to the
The
original
council
amendment.
workshop be alternated month by month between daytime and night time. That's a good compromise. So we need to put on the online. Then we wouldn't need this.
Can I amend the amendment, if that's all right?
Yes, you may. I second the motion. I say yes. Right, what do you say?
But we're talking about these meetings are not month by month. These meetings, we are talking about.
So have you accepted this amendment?
Not that one.
If you accept this amendment, there could be further amendments to that amendment.
Can you add to this amendment, like, so we can
You
see the whole
can't,
picture?
Do you accept that amendment, councillors, and then we've got to discuss that amendment?
These councillors only talking about month by month.
Councillor Dalla suggests,
So I'm just talking, going to the point of accepting. So we are talking about meetings that.
yes,
that is
councillor.
quarterly.
Can I just reiterate to the council that in the meeting, I have it here in the minutes, and at the meeting, there were 11 members of the committee, and they voted unanimously for 2 o'clock in the day. Now, how can we, even if councillor Data was at the meeting, say that it would have been 10 to 1 or 11 to 1, and you would have lost that motion, councillor Data? 11 people here wanted
We are
at
just-
2 o'clock.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Point of order, Mr. Mayor. We are just going through the
Yes,
amendments.
yes or no, accept the amendment. That's what I want to hear. Yes or no?
Mr. Mayor, there is no point of losing temper. I'm not sure why your face is getting red and losing temper. That's not. that's not
Councillor
fine.
Data,
I am
I don't know if
elected
you've heard
member,
of,
and for the
Councillor
last
Data,
6 months,
Councillor
I'm a-
Data,
So,
take your
no.
seat, please.
So, please not,
Councillor
we are not
Data,
children here to
Councillor
shout.
Data, Councillor Data. Okay? Councillor Data, we've just spent half an hour, basically looking at our own navels, things that could have been discussed behind closed doors. To me, this is a complete embarrassment that this even had to come to council. And it actually, it could have been a very, very simple discussion amongst people. And we're looking at spending time looking at our own navels and worrying about our...
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, no,
This is not a.
there's no point of order, Councillor.
It's a point of order.
There's no point of order,
These
Councillor.
things have been mentioned many times. I do accept it. I did accept. that
Councillor
the-
Data, we had a vote amongst the councillors. The councillors actually voted for it to be 3 o'clock for the workshops. We changed that to 4 o'clock. We changed the citizenship ceremony to 4:30 when originally it was 3 o'clock. The council committee meetings have unanimously asked for it to be at 2 o'clock by all our local community members. So what this motion is about is that you cannot attend at a certain time, so you want to change everyone else's schedule to make it at a certain time.
So
I can tell you by making it 5 p.m. or later, that puts me out of many of these things. Puts Councillor Reddy out of many of them. Councillor Pensabini's already indicated she won't be able to attend them. So,
So what are you proposing? You give me your proposal. You tell me what to do. Yeah, no, he said, the mayor said that behind the doors.
I recommend that if I was you, Councillor Data, I would withdraw this motion and I would have a conversation with the mayor and with the deputy mayor and the general manager and try to make some sort of arrangement because we've wasted too much time on this. Yeah. I just need an answer. Are you accepting that amendment?
No, I think,
Yes
okay,
or no?
let's say this, do this.
Sorry,
Let's
Mr.
put
Mayor,
that
I'd like to
in
withdraw
the-
the amendment.
You're withdrawing the amendment? Thanks, Councillor Mahaswaran. The amendment's withdrawn. So, Councillor Data, would you like to close?
No, I think what I was saying that
No,
if you wanted.
the amendment hasn't been accepted, has been withdrawn.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
how everyone's had a chance to
but
speak.
did you say
It's
that?
now time for you to close.
You can either withdraw it or come back to the drawing.
No, that's one that you just proposed before you withdrew, you just proposed that if I would do it, you will have a discussion and.
Councillor Data, I've always been accommodating to a lot of things you
Okay,
asked
then
for. So-
not some, but not lot, okay, I
Right,
will.
we've got to, there's 7 councillors here, Councillor Data.
Mhm.
So we need to make it to suit all the, as
Okay.
much as we can, all the councillors. There's workshops that I've missed out on. The council committee meetings, I would have really loved to go to them. I was really looking forward to it, but I couldn't attend both.
Mr. Mayor, I haven't gone to many things, including council,
but this is
various
what,
things,
the
lot of
main thing is, Councillor Data, we're here for the community. And the citizenship ceremonies always get nearly 100% turnout. The community turns up. It's a once in a lifetime day for them. It's not about us. It's about the citizens getting sworn in. And so, what are you doing, Councillor Data?
As a point of order there.
Yes,
because
Councillor
I
Hall.
did say, earlier, in saying that, you know, if the citizenship ceremonies are held at 3 o'clock and then 100% attendance, you can put it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and there will be 100% attendance. They still come, of course they will, so I think we need to.
I couldn't,
You might not have anyone to swear them in.
That's a different point.
The Mayor and the Deputy
You
Mayor.
don't have to be there.
I had to be at work last citizenship ceremony, so I didn't.
I know, you didn't attend?
I didn't
Yeah.
attend. I had to choose my priorities. Anyway,
Okay, anyway, Councillor Data, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
no, I think as the mayor said that he is prepared to look at it, and so
Well, it's up to you, Councillor Data, if you withdraw it or not.
That's what I'm saying. As the mayor mentioned that he is prepared to look at it, and, because he did change the citizenship ceremony at 4:30, and as he knows, and many of you know that on other occasions at 4 o'clock I've said I would be coming, and I haven't been able to attend those things. So we are talking about the citizenship ceremony, we are talking about the workshop, we are talking about community meeting, and I am in good faith, I'm happy to withdraw this motion.
Thank
today
you, Councillor
for
Data.
have a
So motion withdrawn, 14.5. We'll move on to 14.7, Save Arnott Home, moved by Councillor Pentabini, our Deputy Mayor,
I'll second.
and seconded, do I have a seconder for the motion, councillors? Councillor Hall?
Yes, and through the chair, I'd like to just hand out, it's a very similar wording, but this is the wording that I've handed to our, Mr. McQuaid. And one to Michael, and I'll take one from me. It's exactly the same, but, I think everyone noticed that the sale sign's going up on the home building at 64 Albert Road, Strathfield. It's a beautiful, the original home of Mr. Arnott. And, for some reason, it's gone up as a private sale without any consultation or any provisions to council to save it. And they've, kicked out the TAFE people, they kicked out the TAFE people that are in the building, and, we want to know why the state government's selling that property without consultation with Strathfield Council, without consultation with anyone or state members of the area. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to, the Strathfield local member, Jason Yetsen-Lee, has already put in a question to Senate estimates in regard to this and why it was put up for sale through a private company without any notice to say that it's public land, which is quite unusual. And I think it looks very sneaky that they're trying to sell this property without any consultation with us. I believe, and I think council would agree with me, that this home should be saved, it should be restored, and it should be used for council facilities. And I'd be happy with the letters that go out to the ministers that we will work collaboratively with them to make sure that it stays in community hands. And I believe there should be a big push to keep that in our hands at all times. It's historical, it shouldn't go anywhere. It should stay with us.
Thank you, Councillor Pentabini. Do we have any debate on this matter, councillors? No, there being no debate, would you like to close, Councillor Pentabini?
Yep.
Yes.
Finished.
You close?
All good. Yep. Make sure you say that.
I'll put the motion, councillors.
Have
I'll
a petition.
make sure the letters go out straight away, and put
Yep.
put it to you, councillors. All those in favour, unanimous. 14.8, partnership with St Paul's Anglican Church and St Macarius Churches. Moved by Councillor Pentabini,
I'll second.
seconded by Councillor Hall.
Yes, so a
Councillor
report to
Pentabini.
go to a workshop in regard to supporting these two charities for the work that they do with our homeless. And now not just homeless, but our people who are struggling very, very hard in regard to making ends meet. St Macarius are sending out 14,000 meals a month, and Father James is supporting 4,000 people a week. Their shelves are being emptied every week. They can't keep up with the products that people need, and I think that council should be an ongoing supporter of this, of these two organisations. So I'd really like a report to come back to see if we can actually incorporate that. I'd also like letters to go to Canterbury Council, Burwood Council and Canada Bay Council to ask to meet our recommendation as well, and that every quarter of the year they receive this type of money to make sure that their funds are there for them to support the community. It's our community.
Yeah, so every, it says each year.
Oh, sorry, we would
quarter,
only do it once a year in the fourth, in the second quarter. Bankstown would do it in the first quarter, Burwood would do it in the third quarter, and Canada Bay would do it in the fourth quarter. So it's an over the year spreading out of money so that they know that they've got that $10,000 coming in every quarter to cover the costs. Whether they will or not, I don't know, but I have a very good relationship with all three mayors, and I would hope that the letter... Four mayors. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. I thought you were a done deal. And the letter to go out, I would really like my name to be added to that letter from the mayor and the deputy mayor to make sure that they know that we're doing this. Thank you very much. And the seconder and every single council member.
Okay. I have an amendment which I would like to add, Councillor Hall, Councillor Pennsylvania, Madam Deputy Mayor and Councillor Hall. Look, I've obviously heard a lot of work that you know, St Paul's do, and I didn't know much about St Macquarie. So I was trying to do a bit of research on what they do, and I got some assistance of basically. I know St Paul's Church. I'll say what I like now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I know St Paul's. Yes, I will say what I like. St Paul's. I know. You know, running on the smell of an oily rag. St Macquarie's Church. I could only find financial records from a couple of years ago. There's been no records then, and they seem to be doing quite well, making quite a reasonable profit every year, and paying their staff enormous amounts of money. So I don't know much about them, and I'd really like to know more and really like to see their sort of statements. So I think that we can't really, you know, if this is coming to a workshop, we kind of probably need to see, you know, some sort of, you know, maybe if we can add a point 4 that the organisations provide council with their current financial reports / records prior to further discussion in relation to a reoccurring grant. I just think, look, we're all for, you know, supporting charities, but, you know, there's 7 councillors here. Are we all going to bring 2 charities to support every year? It's $20,000 a year. You know, that's $140,000 a year if everyone brings 2, and maybe I want to bring 3. So we need to know who these people are and why we're supporting them, and are they in a position where they're, you know, really in that much need for this $10,000 grant from the council. You know, I think as I'm saying, there's, you know, turning over say $1 million and making $100,000 profit is, you know, to me, I look at that and I say, well, you've got $100,000 left over. Do you need another $10,000?
I totally understand.
Yeah. So it's not, you know, I don't want to be the Grinch here and. You know, these sorts of things, but we do need to be financially responsible councillors. We have a lot of challenges moving forward.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councillor Data.
I think if I could add one point there, that
you can ask the mover and the seconder.
That is a report we provided to the council workshop on item 4 on the various activities of these 2 organizations performing over last 10 years or something like that, or on the various activities, because we need to know.
3 years is.
3 years, okay, because we need to know what they are doing. Because I don't even know whether they are local or not.
Oh my God.
I mean, I know Mercury has the same issue.
Yeah, it's all on the Bow Road.
That's the problem.
Sorry?
How many people do they serve?
They
locally?
serve
On their activities, just without.
Not all of them.
They are,
I mean.
Can I just say, Councillor Data has the floor?
Yeah.
And I'll please.
All a point added that the report should include the activities of these organizations over the last 3 years. So we can make an independent, we can make an opinion on what they are doing. And of course, Mr. Mayor, I remember said that they supply their financial statement. That could be another point, and that's fine as well. So there could be another 2 points added to it. So we can make a good informed judgment on the situation.
To add it to the,
Yes, Councillor Pennsylvania Hall, do you accept that point 5?
So the report to the organisation for the conducting of the party.
no.
I think it's fair enough.
I think it's fair. Right.
Am I the mover?
You are the mover, so you're not accepting?
No.
Then we could put a shadow motion.
can I make a,
Hang on, Councillor.
Can I add a word?
Councillor Reddy, we're just dealing with this amendment which hasn't been accepted by the mover.
I think she's trying to fix the word.
I think Councillor Data's putting a foreshadow on this one.
Yeah, all of this 5.
Yep.
I wasn't sure about. Yeah, for sure.
Foreshadow all of this 5.
All of the 5.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Foreshadow this one. Too much. Okay. That's what it is. Okay. So any further debate on the original motion, councillors? We've got.
Councillor Reddy has something.
Yeah, we're on the original motion, councillor Reddy. Are you talking on the original motion?
no, for sure.
Okay, we'll deal with that if the original motion is lost.
She wants an amendment to the amendment.
Through the chair.
Yes, Councillor Chai.
You know, where is the, I couldn't find it actually, where is the, Senator Mercury's church?
South Strathfield.
There you go, councillor.
They're in South Strathfield.
South Strathfield, and Father James and Father Cook, they're in Burwood Road, Burwood.
Yeah, the other one is Burwood, this one I couldn't find it, you know.
South Strathfield.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's no further discussion on that motion.
I'll just speak to it.
Yes, councillor Mataswara.
Very, very briefly, I'd say that just to give you, I guess what I'd also understand to be the Deputy Mayor's position is that we're asking for 3 years worth of reports of what these organisations have done. I think for that long, both myself and Councillor Pinsabene have been making donations to these particular organisations and seeing the work that they do, including the food that they distribute to homeless people, as well as the queues of people that sometimes refused support because there's inadequate supplies at these 2 churches.
They're being turned away at the moment.
But that's why we're so confident that the money is most certainly going to a good cause.
Thank you, councillor.
Yes, on the current motion, yes.
Is there anywhere I could know the information, the receivers of the funds or the groceries or the food? How
Well,
many
that's
of
what
them
Councillor Data, I think, is asking, what have they been doing for the last 3 years, so we can get a better idea.
I want to,
In the foreshadowed
if they are
motion.
serving 100 people, out of 100, how many are Stratford residents? That was my specific question.
Does it really matter? When the majority is?
Well,
Do you need a number?
no, but you need to account to the
I
Stratford
understand
residents.
where you're coming from, councillor Reddy.
You need
I
to-
do understand, and I know what you're saying. I visit this service to Father James on a Tuesday and a Thursday every week. At the end of the day, their shelves are empty because they cannot keep up with the amount of people coming in.
Jason doing?
We then need to supply them with food for the next week. They are scraping each week for $1 to make sure that these people are being
I think
fed.
Councillor Pentabene, I think, look, no one's saying that we shouldn't look at.
I'm saying
Thank
Are
you.
you
that,
closing?
She's not close.
who's running this meeting,
Councillor Hall,
Mr Mayor?
Councillor Hall, please.
And what I'm saying is, the majority of people that turn up and turned away because they're now having to ask for pension cards because they cannot keep up, are Strathfield residents. They come from the Strathfield area, and they're the people that we see come in and being turned away every day because they don't have the money.
They're not stressful people.
They are Strathfield people. That's who they look after.
Oh, we have some.
Homebush West, Strathfield are the people coming from that area. Flemington, a lot from Belfield, that come to the centre every Tuesday and Thursday, and all they're wanting is a loaf of bread, and they just can't get it.
Any further discussion about regards to that first motion, councillors?
Yes, I haven't spoken.
Oh, yes, councillor Hall.
Okay, so I'm actually very, very, very familiar with St Mercurius. I have been
You're not a member,
to
are you,
their
councillor?
place. No, I'm not a member. I have done, same, donated, blah, 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 functions, blah, blah, blah. I have actually brought up St Mercurius as in the previous council offices a number of times, but I kept coming back to now that they need to apply for a grant, they need to apply for a grant, they need to apply for a grant. And so that's where I believe these things should lie. Now, in saying that, Mike, I do have a question, and that is, should we be in a position, at the moment, I believe we have, and this is a question to the chair, which is whoever knows about it, we have a grant program, but my understanding is that we have a limit to the amount that is given with regard to the grant. My question is, is there any way that we can increase the grant, which would be the same thing as we're doing here, and also increase the pool of the grant, and also increase the amount that we can give to organisations, because my understanding is at the moment we have a limit that we can give to each organisation. So that's a different issue. So what my concern is, if we do it this way, I can tell you now, we're opening up a can of worms. And there are so many charitable organisations, and everybody want to come and
I get letters
offer.
I get letters every week, councillor.
So, and that's my concern. However, if we did it through the channel of a grant, where we may need to amend. So my question, whoever can answer it, to the chair, can we increase the pool of the grant monies, depending on the budget? Number two, is there a limit to how much each organisation can get at the moment? Yes. And can we increase the amount of that each organisation gets? That's my question, but I haven't finished
I'll pass it through to Mrs. Aikenhead.
Through the CSP, it's got to go out on exhibition.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I was just trying to find very quickly the amount of community grants. We have two grants in our grants program. One is the community grant, and one is the cultural grant, normally about $5,000 for cultural and up to $5,000 for community grants. We are about to put to the next workshop the recipients of those grants, so it would be timely that discussion would be held there. In regards to the $56,000, if you wanted to increase that, you would need to do that through the CSP process and also an amended budget review process, as there's no more money in that budget at the moment.
Okay. So, sorry, another question. So with the CSP process, we can't do it through the CSP process, because that's already gone out and come back, but we can do it through an operations budget.
Yes, Councillor Hall, you are correct. Through the operational plan, we would need to amend that to actually be able to do that. And that would require a 28-day exhibition period. There may be a chance to do it before next year. It would have to be an amendment. We are able to amend the OPR.
Yeah, of course you can amend that, the operational plan, but the operational plan only makes reference to the community grant. We'd have to actually look at what's in the community grant as a word that covers it anyway. Yeah. and that you probably have to do a budget variation if the budget's actually been exceeded, by them. But it depends how you actually treat this particular matter.
So if we pull this money, and that pool is in PWL, this money into the grant, and so put this into that grant, scheme of things, and we can change the grant, we can change whatever we want through a motion when it comes to grants, and then change the amount in the operational plan. Is that all we would need to do, which is probably the better process?
You could do that. The only, limit that I would see with that is every year you have to determine to give it to that charity group again, and, from hearing Council Pennsylvania, she wanted to create a reoccurring grant for these particular, organisations. If I could suggest that we do this when the directors come to the workshop, and I can come back and see, what our options are to be able to do that, so,
Yeah, I think you've got to get to actually consider it at a session and actually give an advice on how it can work. Because you actually really do need to look at what the guidelines for the operation of those particular funds are and the other things.
Well,
Because those grants are for particular purposes.
it is to go to a workshop.
Yeah. So I think
That's the motion.
It'd be best to probably have a look at this outside of session, give an advice on what the, requirements of those particular things are and what money is available and stuff like that, but, yeah, would you expect that to a workshop for discussion, I imagine?
Yeah, so, thanks for all that information. That is my understanding of how the whole process works, because I tried to do something similar during my last term, and it kept coming back to, it's got to go through a grant process, because you're really opening up a can of worms. I mean, when you're talking about what are the guidelines in giving these organisations the $10,000 every year, what if their circumstances change the year after?
No.
And what if?
It's just saying that we just give them money because we want to.
So, I mean, we really are need to be accountable to the residents. Especially when, and you know, St Paul's do an amazing job, but they are in Burwood. So, you know, the question is asked, well, what's Burwood Council doing? What are they giving? It really, if it was a grant process, it would be a process that.
Transparency.
Yes, that would be, we would be accountable every year, they would be accountable every year, and it really is a much fairer and a much more transparent, process. If you leave it like this, it opens up a whole can of worms, and I know, hey, I've got another half a dozen charity organisations that, do a lot of work as well. But these are fantastic organisations, and I think we should provide for them, but I think we should provide it through a process that is going to be transparent and that gives the opportunity for accountability every year.
I totally agree. That's why it's going to a workshop.
I just wanted to say one comment if I can make, Mr. Mayor. Is that?
Yes, Dara, I'll allow it. Councillor Dara.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that the shadow motion that I'm moving is not because that
Councillor Dara, you can speak on the foreshadow motion.
I'm not talking about the motion. The reason on the motion that I've added the point is I still agree, which many of you have said, there has to be some due diligence. And the point that I am adding, or the others have hard time to add, is a process of due diligence, just to make some boundary, some rules and transparency on. So for the sake of that, I'm adding those two, I'm moving this shadow motion, and I will not be supporting this motion. But
For the sake of time, I will accept your amendment and add 5. Can we just get forward, please? I move that we put it forward. No, for the sake of time, I'll add another 5.
Yeah, we're going to do the motion, we'll put a foreshadow motion.
Oh, well,
You withdraw your foreshadow.
can you withdraw it and then I'll just add yours?
We can't add it after that.
I cannot because it's gone.
Oh.
It's gone through the process.
Okay.
So you can vote against it and then you can vote all for it.
Yeah. So we'll put the first motion, councillors.
I'm not going to do that, Raj. Of
Okay.
course you'd want me to do that.
The first motion is,
First, is that just,
It's all going to be, the councillors know what they're doing.
yeah, the first motion is the one that doesn't have the 3 years of information. Yeah, so put that one. Councillor Mount Warren, Councillor Hall, Councillor Pensabini,
this is not.
and then against the first motion, Councillor Blackmore, Councillor Reddy.
Sorry, which one is that?
That's the first
It's the
motion,
first
Councillor
one.
Pensabini.
The first one.
Please,
But
Councillor.
that's just one, if the first motion goes
The
up,
feast, we look at the foreshadowed motion.
Yes,
if it goes up, do we look at the portrait again?
no,
No,
No.
so
This
you're,
is-
so,
that's not the.
again,
So,
Can we just,
so through the mayor, we have to deal with the first motion, because that's the one that's on the floor. If that's lost because there's a foreshadowed motion, then councillors will have the opportunity to deal with the
That's right.
foreshadowed motion,
So that
because it
is,
becomes the motion.
that's right, so that's the confusion, so you cannot keep on, you cannot
okay,
vote for
so,
both. You
so
can
against the
vote for
motion,
one.
councillors?
Okay, against the motion, first motion.
Against the motion.
Yeah, Councillor Data, Councillor Reddy, Councillor
Yeah,
Shire,
that's-
Councillor Blackmore.
Against,
I declare the first motion lost. We'll move on to the foreshadowed motion.
that's right.
Do we need debate on this,
I'll
councillor?
second it.
Yeah, seconded by councillor
Thank you.
Pensabini, and we've got point 5 should be on there.
Yeah, let's vote.
One second, councillor. Where'd the point 5 go?
Just keep your hands up.
Wait a second. I just want to wait just to make sure we've got this correct.
Yeah. It's now 8:30.
Early finish. Okay, so I'll put the foreshadowed motion, councillors. All those in favour? Councillor Mount Yes. Unanimous. Okay, moving on, councillors. 1410.
10.
Shade covers over playgrounds, Councillor Nella Hall, and seconded by the Mayor, Councillor Blackmore.
And I believe that the mayor has an amendment.
I may have an amendment, yes.
Do you want to put it now?
I will, yes.
So that make it nice and quick.
Do you need to?
Do I need to, council, so just a bit of an audit over, all the playgrounds to make sure that they appropriately have, shade. Some of them may not need shade cloth, some of them may, I don't know. Just a report, is fine, in any way, shape or form.
Okay. I do have an amendment, Councillor Hall. I did have a chat with you about this beforehand. And just in point 1, that council prepares a report after the completion of the recreation study.
I thought it was going to be in conjunction with.
Let's get the right wording. The parks recreation study that we're completing.
In conjunction with, or?
We can do it through that.
Yeah.
In conjunction.
Oh, in conjunction.
In conjunction with.
With the park and recs proposed, yeah.
Through the park,
Yeah.
park and recreation study.
Recreation study.
Just through the intermediary, we're aware that that will take several months to do.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Councillor Hall's aware, because obviously could potentially end up being quite an expensive motion. Yeah.
And you need, we need to remove remove,
Conjunction.
and an audit.
With Council prepares a report in conjunction with the park and recreation study.
Through time.
The park and recreation study of playgrounds in those areas. If you're happy with that, Councillor Hall.
I am.
Okay. Any further debate, councillors? No further debate. You need to close, Councillor Hall. No, you're done. We'll put the motion. All those in favour? Unanimous.
Sounds like an auction.
I'm an auctioneer.
14.11, Stratford Park parking. Councillor Nella Hall. Do you have a second to approve the motion, Councillor? Councillor Raj Data.
Did you want to do that?
Okay, councillor Hall, you have the floor.
You can put all the name in there.
Okay, so, I've been thinking this for quite a while, and now, I'm just wondering whether,
You should
there
withdraw it.
should be, I should withdraw it. I think it's a great idea.
There's no room.
No, well, there could possibly be through the
Yes,
chair.
yes, councillor Hall, can we?
Is it like the one over at Chalmers Road?
Yeah.
That's the one she wants.
Yeah, that's the one.
You know the one on, you know, the lift that goes over on Chalmers Road?
That's why it says, that's why it says using mountable curb. Anyway, you go, the council prepare a feasibility study including a budgetary consideration of potential extra parking at Castle Park, Homebush using, Homebush, remove side, there should be no side next to road, it's just Homebush Road. And I will declare that I live in the very closest in the city, and I don't own a property.
You don't own the park or the road?
Using mountable curb angle parking, so remove the, yeah. So, just the, I'm sure we all know how very, very busy Chapel Park is. And one day I had a couple of residents actually approach me and suggest that we need extra parking, and would I consider the mountable curb angle parking? It's taken me quite some time.
Were they a traffic engineer, councillor Hall?
Well, it took me quite some time to think about it. I did put it to the last, our officers, and they said, yep, could, put in a motion, we'll have a look at it, see whether it's feasible or not. It's just to see whether it's feasible, and you never know, the council officers may come up with something that's much more imaginary than what I've done. I'll leave it to you guys.
Okay, debate, councillors? Debate? No?
For the sake of time, let's move on.
Oh, I have something to say about this one.
All you like.
We're having a
Mr. Mayor can say whatever he wants. Lord Mayor.
yeah. Look, councillor Hall, I cannot support this.
You don't need to.
And, you know, the thing is, this park has already been eaten up by hard surfaces, you know, at the, you know, upset of the local community. You know, I too met many local residents who are very upset about having too much synthetic grass, too much concrete at that park. And, you know, looking at that area, I cannot see any way that, firstly, this, you know, potentially could, you know, a simple motion potentially cost $500,000, firstly, just, you know, looking at stuff we've done in the past, but also the fact that it will actually mean the possibility of eating into the park.
No, not eating into the park. Don't eat into the park.
It will, councillor Hall.
No.
Which will mean the moving of the footpath, which would mean the moving of the fence, which would mean the cutting down of more trees. And I can't support it, councillor Hall, because we've already done too much work in this park. We need to probably look at what we can remove from that park to open it up a bit and allow a bit more green space. So I definitely cannot support this concept. And but obviously we'll put it to the.
Well, in saying that,
councillor Hall,
let me withdraw it, and I'll go back to the drawing board with some engineers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Withdraw.
14-1-1, motion withdrawn.
Talk to the traffic committee.
Yep.
No,
Okay.
Mr. Balmer.
Thank you, councillor Hall, for that.
Boma.
We'll move on to
I think it's
GM6, Sister City Gapyong Village, page 145.
Oh, we're up to there already?
Yep.
Where are we?
Wow.
145.
Oh, sorry.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, 145. So remover for the motion, councillors. Councillor Data, seconder.
I'll second.
Councillor Hall. Okay.
This one.
I just want to change point 4, if I may. to read that, the council, payment of expenses for the mayor, councillor Chai, and the general manager or delegate.
Sorry,
Anybody else want to go?
I lost you there.
So point four,
Chai,
yeah, so we've had a bit of a discussion amongst the councillors and, you know, I invited the deputy mayor, she's indicated that she, will not be going.
Oh, right.
And, councillor Chai, has recommended the interest that he really would like the opportunity to, learn about our sister city and, yeah, so I put, that's my recommendation if it's accepted by councillor Data and councillor Hall, that small amendment. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any debate on this motion,
Yes,
councillor?
I would like to say something.
Yes, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Yes, can I just say that I would prefer this money to go to St Paul's Church for their charity, rather than going on a junket to Korea, where I don't know what advantages that we would actually achieve by going there. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything further, councillor?
Any councillor
Yes,
can always
councillor
donate
McLaren.
the money.
Yeah, I'll just echo the Deputy Mayor's sentiment in that this council has voted to cut the remuneration of its auditors to save a similar amount of money, while simultaneously voting to increase councillor personal entitlements for printing and other expenses. And this is just another one sitting down and saying, well, we're going to vote against giving money to a local charity because we have to have the strongest possible controls around how we're spending our money in respect of bread to homeless people, but in respect of this activity, there doesn't seem to be all that much concern, there doesn't seem to be all that much debate, there doesn't seem to be, you know, a crossfire of opinions about getting further reports or anything like that.
And we could see their sewerage plant.
So I would say that
I believe they have
frankly, you know, I just have to say that, you know, without being overly critical, I do have to say that that's something that's noteworthy. And I'd also say that though I do think this is a worthwhile trip, in that it does build a relationship with the Florence sister city.
And there's a new mayor there, councillor Maheswaran, and that's the reason for the request. They were going to come here originally, and he can't come here until next year. So he's asked as part of the sister city arrangement that we have had with them that we attend first.
Yeah, I'm just understanding this, Mayor, but thank you. And I'm just going through the process of heaping shit on my fellow councillors. I'll shortly finish.
Please don't use that language in this council ever again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. But look, that's just one of those things where we also in this council meeting had a long discussion about meeting times, but without reference to our staff, without reference to the community in terms of the attendees of our citizenship ceremonies, who just seem to be, that is one of the most important days of our lives. And now we're turning on to councillors flying off to South Korea, and there's not a question to be asked about any of the money that's to be spent on this. So I'm just questioning the priorities here.
Okay, any further debate, councillors? No? I'll put it to you, councillors. All those in favour? Councillor Blackmore, Councillor Data, Councillor Reddy, Councillor Maheswaran, Councillor Chai, Councillor Hall. Against? Councillor Santini. Declare it carried. Okay, we'll move on to CC3, current status of council resolutions, page 179. The mover for the recommendation, Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor Reddy. Debate, councillors?
Yes.
Yes.
I've had a couple of, I haven't gone through all of them, but I've had a couple of, motions that have dropped off, and in particular, the Ismay Avenue, Bowling Club.
For what?
Bowling Club? So I had a motion back in, oh goodness, I think it was
It's here.
was it?
Yeah.
In 2017?
Yeah, it's on page.
Oh, I thought they were in date order.
It's on.
So there's some completed and some.
Yeah. So this is the Pomeroy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is
So it's on page 183. the last one.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. So, sorry, I was going down. Okay, it's still there. Excellent. My other one was, I had one about the Strathfield Park booking system. That we had a booking system with, Strathfield, like for the barbecues, because there's been some minor altercations.
Through the Chair, we are able to put those through our current booking system. When we move, to our new community app, we will also be able to book through those later in the year.
So,
when that second part comes on, that has been completed.
oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything further, councillors?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, councillor Moses.
A number of queries around this. I'll start by item within the outstanding council resolution actions, particularly at page, starting with at page 183, the last item there, which is dated 3 July 2018, Pomeroy Street former bowling club site. The status says council attempted to contact appropriate representative from the Department of Education. That has been the status of this item in so long as I've been councillor. A query just how that's come about that item has sat there, and what I'm meant to take from council attempted to contact appropriate representative from the Department of Education.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I can answer that question. We have been discussing with the Department of Education for a number of years. They are still yet to determine their use on that site, therefore they can't give us an undertaking of whether or not they will give it to us. I was in a meeting about 3 weeks ago with the Department of Education on the use of their school land during closed school holidays. We did ask them that and got another contact in the department to follow up because we are having trouble getting them to continue along with their process. But at the moment they have acknowledged they know it's there and that we're waiting for them to come back to us.
Mr. Mayor, the second point I'd make is the item which is fourth from the bottom on page 103, which is the Local Environmental Plan 2021. States, letter sent to meeting with New South Wales Department of Planning, Industry and Environment to take place week commencing 4 April 2022. It strikes me that that would be an item that is out of date.
Which one is that?
That is fourth from the bottom on the table at page 183.
183.
LEP, 21.
Through the acting Director of Planning.
I understand there's two components to that resolution. One component, the first component was related to a letter that we would send to the Department of Planning seeking an update on the gateway. We subsequently received a gateway in April. The second component to that resolution is obtaining some costings relating to exhibition of an LEP. At the moment, the LEP status is still under consideration, and we will be reporting that to the council at a future workshop.
And Mr. Mayor, finally, in respect of what would be the ninth from the bottom on that table, which is 5 April 2022, entitled Improving the Accountability and Transparency of Council, myself, it states to go to a future councillor workshop. Just noting that that motion was passed on the 5th of April 2022, is there a time frame around which councillor workshop that would it go to?
Is that
well, there's two issues involved with this. I actually have drafted one first, but I also noticed there's a report on the council minutes tonight about the OLG template, which is actually coming out dealing with lobbying councils, which is covering very similar subjects. So we can go forward at a council workshop, because there's a number of policies that need to go to the workshop. This can be included, but I'm not too sure it's actually coming out with the draft template on lobbying, and I suspect it's going to be really similar. This particular motion on the accountability is the problem I have with it. Trying to go through the policy is actually how
council is actually going to work. But we can discuss a workshop, we've actually got a report to review coming to the next workshop.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Ms. Jones is correct, we do have coming to the next workshop the draft OLG guidelines on lobbying, and I know we've spoken about, we believe that that will incorporate most of this, that'll go to the September workshop, it's scheduled for the 20th of September.
Does that answer your councillor, Councillor Maswarra? Yes, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Oh, okay, so mine are queries on page 183, 7th March 22, the mayoral minutes about the Lions Club celebrating 75 years. Council has contacted Rotary Club and awaiting response. Well, you won't get any response from Rotary because they're Rotary and not Lions. I don't know if the letter has gone to the wrong place, but
Through you, Mr. Chair, we'll check the letter.
Thank you very much.
Something has been said incorrectly.
And also,
has been spelled as Rotary.
and so another one, the 1st of June, Hidden Treasures of Stratfield, finishing the new soundtrack. Has that been completed?
I can answer.
Which one's
Oh, the soundtrack for Hidden Treasures.
Yeah, so through the chair.
Through you.
Yeah, Naomi Searle is updating the music of those videos.
Yeah.
I'll be meeting with Naomi tomorrow, so I'll give you an update on that, Councillor Pennsylvania.
Right. Okay. And there's also one on banners and poles for flag banners on the 7th of March. So the note on the side, it says poles refurbished at depot, and I can't work out what that means. On page 187, 7th of March, flag banner holders and Stratfield LGA, shopping centres and outside community buildings.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we'll have to take that on notice.
Thank you very much. And our community newspaper is not a community newspaper, it's a community newsletter. And I've noticed that it has not been delivered to every single household in Stratfield. There are a lot of areas that didn't receive it, and
through the chair, Madam Deputy Mayor, the General Manager is on top of that.
Well, I hope we get our money back.
And we're reviewing that with the distributor.
Yeah.
And
so I think it should be changed to a newsletter, not a newspaper.
I don't even know that.
Did you get it? No.
I didn't get
Through you, Mr. Chair, we actually might be able to change the name of that council to
the resolution. Yeah.
But we can note that it's the newsletter in the comments.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Anything further, councillors? Questions? Councillor Hall?
Sorry, on page 184, 2nd of August, confidential mayoral minute, 1822, possible land purchase. Says completed and closed session resolution. I don't notice any land purchase. Can we take that to a workshop, please? Because if I recall that mayoral minute, it was about a parcel that is very, that we need to discuss. So how do we put that back to a workshop?
Yeah, we'll bring it back to a workshop, Councillor Hall.
Thank you.
We'll discuss what happened.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, anything further, councillors? No. Put it to you, councillors. All those in favour? Unanimous. Next one is CC4 Library Museum Trust.
Why is that going?
Page 190. Moved by Councillor Blackmore.
Second by
Councillor Penny. I just want to make a slight amendment. The council received a note of the report that although council has no jurisdiction over this trust, council note that the preferred distribution of funds would be that all funds from the trust paid to the Stratford Library and Innovation Hub or Stratford Homebush Historical Society. The reason I make this recommendation, councillors, and I was doing a bit of looking through the past, and the understanding reading the trust, the object of the trust is the trustee shall hold the trust fund and the investments from time to time, represent same upon trust to apply the same for the provision and maintenance of the Stratford Heritage Museum and for the purpose of providing money, property or benefits, the collection of historical documents, artefacts relating to the history of Stratford, for the advancement of the arts and cultural activities and public library services, and the preservation of historical items and memorabilia, advancements or education in the arts or other legal charitable purposes, and all purposes relating therefore beneficial to the community, and in particular the community of the Stratford municipal area. I look at a lot of these beneficiaries in the trust. This was set up for the benefit of our library, and a lot of these beneficiaries are clubs which I believe wherever they've come from, but they are clubs that this money there's an intention for this to be with council, and for council to have established a heritage museum and the new library, something along those lines. And there's been the disbursement of the trust and closure of the trust seems to just randomly distribute these funds to a lot of organisations who already receive financial benefit from council, or also actually get rent subsidies, massive rent subsidies from council. So I just think that I want it to be noted that the purpose of this was for improving this historical things in our library, whether it be a museum or whatever the purpose. That's what I believe the money should be put towards, and that's basically my comments without saying too much. It refers to a collection. I think collection is normally something that is purchased or obtained over the years, but I believe several of the items possibly were actually intended to be returned to Stratford Council, so they're just coming back home after a long road somewhere else. So I want that to be noted. I don't think we have much anything. My understanding is we have no jurisdiction over this, but I would like it to be noted that it should come back to council or the Historical Society if they are the people who are authenticating and preserving the local records.
I would have thought that the funds were to be distributed according to the trust fund.
Yes, councillor. Yes, councillor.
It strikes me as a slightly unnecessary motion or amendment to the original motion.
I think it's necessary.
Or just say that it appears in the trust document that the trust is meant to be distributed to organisations with purposes similar to the purposes set out in this deed, and the purpose being the establishment of the preservation of history and the trustees.
And I can't see that in any of those organisations apart from our library. We have our local historian and the Historical Society, and that's why I'm making these comments.
I accept that, Mr. Mayor. It just strikes me that the trustees have formed a view, and it just seems unnecessary to second guess their views when it won't really have much import on the outcome in any event. But I'll just make that comment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Councillor Chai.
Chair. Who owned the trustee?
The documents are all there. The deed to the trust deed is there.
Page 192 or 193. Yeah.
Okay. So we are actually the beneficiary of the...
No, we're not.
No. Group. The group. Okay. Put the motion.
Okay. No further debate, councillors? I'll put the motion, councillors, all those, the recommendation, all those in council, in favour, unanimous. Thank you, councillors. CC5, page
Good work, Mr. Mayor.
212. I think if it's community money, it should be, and for the history.
It's under the community.
CC5, distribution timing, council workshop meetings, business papers. Do I have a move for the recommendation, councillors? Yep.
Yeah, I'll
Councillor
move.
Reddy,
I'll second.
second by councillor Pensabini, and we have to decide on this one, councillors, whether we determine to leave the current timeframe as possible or amend the council business, giving notice of the blah, 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 yeah? So, Councillor Reddy or Councillor Pensabini, you're moving and seconding.
I'm moving that we leave the current business paper timeframes as is.
Yes?
I'll be voting for A.
Okay, so move it there. So we leave. Okay, any debate on this, councillors? Yes, Councillor Chai.
Yeah, I think this one is originally is what I'm asking for, 3 days more for reading, because we have a lot of community works on the weekend. So we really have no time, to spend actually have no time to spend actually on the weekend. So really, 3 days is not asking for too much already. Okay, we talked about this one in the workshop already last time. Basically, I think 3 days is not that difficult to be conquered. Okay, so I prefer, whether we can amend it in the clause, amend it for another 3 days. We can finish the reading, in the.
So, do you want to put amendment, Councillor Chai, to make it point B? Is that what we're?
Yes, I think that's what he's saying.
Yes.
And think instead of, there is a number here for 12 days, I think Councillor Chai, you're talking about 6 or 7 days here, not 12 days.
Yeah, not 12 days.
Wouldn't that be part of the, couldn't do it?
Too difficult
Just
for the
sending back at least a month.
No, we only ask go 3 more days and come out.
But I think, Councillor Chai, I think the discussion in the workshop was that we can't simply just give the papers earlier, because there's other considerations of the staff that need to be done, which then pushes everything back, and then the flow-on effect would be that reports and such things would probably be delayed by at least another month. So it actually isn't an efficient way to operate the process. That's why I think we've been given the option, because there was some councillors wanting it one way, some councillors wanting to leave it the same. So have you accept the amendment, Councillor Reddy and Councillor Pensabini?
Yeah. What's that?
The amendment
to go to B?
change it.
No.
No, not accepted.
I think this is, our council is the multicultural, the council, in here, everybody have the different backgrounds.
Mm.
As a mayor, he's, he's native Australian. So, and then.
Oh, my.
Yes, so, sort of something like that, your people.
No one else.
And the mayor can make, actually, he saw many of the decisions already, maybe many people already in
Point of order, Councillor Chai. I get to see the business papers exactly the same time that you see the business paper. Okay? I do not get to see any of these agenda, and I can confirm that with the general manager. That's good.
And we all get to see everything in the workshop.
Yeah, but the things, personally, to be frankly, I'm studying a bit, reading a bit slow. So, like the last few months, we got 800 something pages, a lot. That's really, ridiculous. Oh, sorry, I can't use this word. But, in the things, the matters of that, is only for a few days, for 800 something pages. Okay, that's really a difficult.
So, Councillor, did you want to foreshadow that? Because they haven't, Councillor Reddy and Councillor Pensabini haven't accepted the amendment. So, did you want to foreshadow?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You put a foreshadow?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stick with the original.
Come on, let us certificate.
Foreshadow 7 days, that's what it is.
7 days is fine, yeah.
It's not 7 days.
Not 7 days.
No, it's 12 days, it's foreshadowing 7 days.
Through you, Mr Chair.
Yes.
If we were to move the notice of motion deadline even by 3 days, it would mean that the notice of motion would need to be provided to us on a Wednesday, the week before your current deadline.
That's okay. we
Because
can-
even if you just move the deadline for printing 3 days, it's your notice of motion deadline right now. It could be produced on the Tuesday, but we actually still need time from the staff to pull a full agenda together. At the moment, the day and a half that we get is actually quite a tight turnaround.
For the first month, it will be difficult, but then it will fall into pattern.
Sorry, councillor, data for every month it will be difficult when we are trying to juggle. There's 11 notices of motion, 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21 reports.
So it will be,
Anyway,
whatever it is.
thank you,
for the month.
Mrs. Aikenhead. So is there any further debate on the first motion, the current business paper times remain as
So
is?
we are talking about the first.
First one.
Yes, voting
A.
for A, keeping it the same.
Yes, any further debate on this item?
I put the motion.
No, we can talk.
Yes, councillor Data,
I think,
you haven't
I
spoken.
think I will not be supporting the first motion. The reason being that we have a councillor who is coming from a multicultural background and.
We have many councillors from multicultural backgrounds.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor, I am not going to argue on that. But he's a councillor coming from a multicultural background, and I know that he is very high in demand in various, needs to visit various parts of the community, and he is looking for some time so that he can adequately represent his supporters of the community or the people he represents. And I still believe that yes, if instead of 12 days, what all he is asking for is no later than 7 days or maybe 6 days. So 3 days is asking for the paper to be pushed back, put forward by 3 days. And if that gives him enough opportunity to do his job better, I think as colleagues, we should support him. And so that he can support the community and we all can support the community better. So I would appreciate that if the mover and seconder of this motion can accept his request.
They've rejected the amendment, councillor.
Okay, in
We're
that
talking
case,
about that.
I'll be voting the
You'll be
second
voting,
motion.
okay.
Thank you.
No worries. Any further debate, councillors? No. We'll put the vote. All those in favour of voting A, leave it as it is. All those in favour? Yeah. Councillor Reddy, Councillor Naswaran, Councillor Hall, Councillor Benzabini, and the Mayor. All those against? Councillor Data, Councillor Chan. I declare it carried. So foreshadow motion is lost or gone. Okay. And then PE2, page 277. Do I have a mover? The competition, yeah? Moved by Councillor Hall, second by Councillor Benzabini.
Are we doing 274?
274.
Oh, sorry, that was, sorry, PE1, sorry, Marlborough Road, yes, apologies, councillors, 274. Do I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Reddy, seconded by Councillor Moswaran. Discussion, councillors? No, I think we took this out because we wanted to have discussion. Any discussion, councillors?
No, I think there are
Option one, aren't we?
few things, so we will no discussion.
Are we doing option one?
Put the motion.
Okay, put the motion, councillors, nothing to do with it. Carrying unanimous, yep, should have been done.
Why isn't that in the bold?
PE2, Traffic Committee Competition, moved by Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor Reddy. Discussion, councillor, debate?
Yeah, so the reason I put this one out is because I would actually like to make a note. I understand that attending meetings by video link. We'll need to, there's a process for that, which we'll then look at. But I did want to note that where it says on the bottom here in the recommendation, interested councillors can attend in person as observers only in the trust committee meeting process. I'm going to make the note again that we look at introducing the process where councillors can attend by video link, so that way there's no issue. It would also help,
Councillor Mahesh
Sharon, to,
Who?
I was just going,
Mahesh Sharan.
Mahesh Sharan.
Okay.
It's August. It's disgraceful.
I'm going to so much.
So you're just adding a point there,
So, yes, so can we,
that we look at the process of councillors attending by visual link.
yes, thank you.
Yep, no worries.
That was it. But I wasn't, I was only looking at you, I wasn't going to understand it. No. They jumped ahead.
Through the chair,
Yes, Mr. Acting Director
councillors,
Reid.
the traffic committee is not a committee of council.
Yes, I understand that.
The traffic committee is an advisory committee to council.
Mm-hmm.
And, in terms of, interaction with the committee, there isn't any other than by the technical representatives at the committee. So the availability of viewing the committee would be purely an observation process, not an interaction process.
That's exactly right. Completely understood, yes.
Okay.
Thank
No,
you.
anything further, councillors? No, I'll put the recommendation, councillors. All those in favour, Councillor Hall, Councillor Data, Councillor Chai. Hall, Data, Chai, against. Councillor Blackmore, Councillor Maswaran, Councillor Reddy, Councillor Pentabeni. I declare it lost.
Okay,
Okay.
now we go to 282.
Yes, PE4, Employment Zone Report, 282, moved by Councillor Maheswaran.
Seconded by me.
He says no, he says what I say.
Hmm?
He says what I say. He says exactly what I say.
Maheswaran.
Yes,
Yeah, and do I have a second, sorry,
he says
Councillor?
exactly the same.
Councillor Pentabeni. Yep. Debate, councillors.
I had a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Particularly, I just know that the attachment is not too useful on this report, but can we take it that these submissions were the submissions that were invited from the previous exhibition of the employment zones?
Go. Through the chair.
Through the chair, I can confirm that the submission has come straight out of the plan.
And I'm sorry, just a follow-up question, which is there a distinction between what would be provided to, I wouldn't have imagined that there would be submissions made directly to council. Are these submissions that were made to the department in response to the policy that was exhibited?
That's correct.
And finally, Mr. Mayor, the question is that in our previous discussions in the workshops, and I believe this was when Mr. Clements was still the playing director, there was discussion around, I believe, an earlier resolution that council would look at the individually affected lands, not just in terms of straight conversion under the proposed amendment, but rather that council would undertake a study of what the most appropriate new use or higher and better use may be under the new zones that are provided for. I think the answer to this question is that council was not able to undertake that type of study before this came to the fore in the sense of assessing Stephanie needing to be made, but can I confirm that is the position?
Through the chair.
Council will need to undertake, a future review of these. We've done a translation as best we can. We're waiting for what we hope is the 1st of December, communication from the Department of Planning relating to the immediate translation, whether there are any provisions attached to that. So when we have that information, we'll be better informed in terms of how we proceed.
So, through the chair, is it correct to say that then we would still undertake that review, but that would come after the SEP comes into effect? So.
That would be matter for council to decide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You're okay? Yep. Any further debate, councillors? No. I'll put the recommendation. All in favour? Unanimous. Okay, then we move on to EO2, page 341.
I'll move that.
Do I have a mover for that, councillors? Councillor Hall. Seconder, Councillor Reddy. Yes.
Amendment.
Yes. I have a small amendment, if I can just add, council undertake recommendation, council. Sorry, and then a further point that this be considered in conjunction with the Parks and Recreation, a future Parks and Recreation study.
Accepted.
Yeah, accepted, yes?
Yes.
A future, yeah, with a future. Okay, are you happy with that, councillor Reddy? That was your original motion, yeah? Yes, okay, any further debate, councillors? No? Put the motion in favour, unanimous. Okay. 16 matters of urgency. Neil?
Yeah, I have one. Don't.
Neil,
You
matters of
don't.
urgency.
Can we go first?
Councillor?
You don't.
Yes.
We have this,
We missed one?
PE,
Did we?
which is on page, sorry,
Was that not put through the,
313.
Oh, yeah, please,
I thought it was to involve,
Did that go through?
We moved
No, you
PE3,
didn't.
PE5 and PE6 through extension,
Yeah, no, you didn't.
but not PE.
Yep, you're right, Mrs. Aikenhead, you are right.
Yes, because I had to say a comment on this one.
P7.
Yep,
That's
so,
right.
Back to the boarding board.
It's really quick.
yep, so we just put PE7, Home Bush Shop on page 313. Do I move for that, councillors?
I'll move that.
Moved by councillor Hall, seconded by councillor Manaswaran.
317.
313.
313.
So, I just had a question really.
Yes, councillor.
When we're talking about the Homebush West shop front, are we also talking about the awnings? The awnings.
Yes, if you read the report, councillor, it talks about the awnings, I don't know, the roll down,
Shutter.
not the shutter, yeah, it's talking about the shutters, talking about the vinyl roll down shade covers and all this.
Yep, and so.
Yeah, it's all included in the report.
Yep, so what the, my issue was that, some of them,
Mm-hmm.
look at this. If I recall, going back about 2 years, we had some colour and something that was chosen by council.
That's in the report.
Yeah,
councillor,
but what happened was that the shop owners did not like that particular colour. And so I think he settled to, there was some consultation on what the colours would be. So what I'm wanting to know is, will there be sort of a bit of a consultation with what the colours would be, rather than council just saying this is what it's going to be? That's my question to whoever.
That goes through the chamber.
Through.
Didn't they chamber pick colour after they didn't like the colour we picked? They did, because Kevin put up you know, the switcher.
Mm.
He put up his awning and everyone liked that colour.
Yeah, there was a change in, yeah, and that's my issue.
And that's the colour that everyone chose.
Okay. I think we can,
We can consult
we'll consult with you.
as part of the program.
Thank you. That was all.
Gives me a question.
Yes, councillor.
In this, the recommendation number 4, you know, say council less, you know, with the Rotary Club or Strathfield to discover whatever the things. You know, Flemington shopping centre has their Chamber of Commerce. Why don't we just go with the Chamber of Commerce? Let them to solve the problems. Why leave the Strathfield Rotary to solve these problems?
I can answer that question.
Yeah, I think,
They can only do it.
Rotary Club has a...
The Chamber of Commerce has been communicating with the Rotary Club.
Rotary Club has the graffiti removal program,
Yeah.
and I think that's what the...
But they can only do it on public places, they can't do it on private.
No, we can do it, the Rotary can do it on private,
If you get permission.
yes.
The local Chamber of Commerce should play the roles for their, you know,
They don't want
shop centre.
That's the thing that I want to know. We've been communicating with, we've been communicating about it.
Councillor Chai, you could always just add a small amendment if you wanted to, which would say that council liaise with Rotary Club of Strathfield and Flemington Chamber of Commerce, if you wanted to add that.
I think we should communication with this one, because I you know.
Would that be something you might consider, Councillor Chai?
Put the amendment in.
Yeah, I think.
This one should be,
Yeah, just put the amendment in.
yeah, we can amend it, yeah.
Yes, you'll make that amendment? Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank
Are you
you.
happy with that, Councillor Hall and
I
Councillor
am,
Torres?
it's all good.
Yes,
Just a concluding remark.
yes.
I think the plan looks really good. I think Mr. Foden's probably done a great job on it, or whoever has, and I think it's going to make Flemington look like the Paris to hundreds of Rome. Very
Thank
risky.
you.
That's a bar too.
Anything,
Okay.
Anything further, Councillor?
The Paris Strathfield.
No, I'll put the recommendation, councillors. All those in favour? Unanimous? Okay, carried. Move back. Matters of emergency, nil. Closed session, nil. I declare the meeting closed at 9:20 p.m.
Who would have thought?